Patriots working without legal status in the U.S. to leave their jobs and return home ASAP. Gustavo Petro saying in an early morning post on X that his government would provide loans to those who take up his offer to return home and enlist in one of its programs to start a business. He made the comments following a bitter feud over immigration last weekend with President Trump. It nearly triggered a trade war and a rupture in diplomatic relations between the U.S. and its historic ally in South America. Rwandan-backed rebels who have captured eastern Congo's largest city say they plan to take their rebellion to the capital and seek to gain political power. This is as Congo's leader has called on young people to enlist in the army to help fight the rebels. A crucial meeting of neighboring countries has asked the Congolese government to talk with the rebels. Meanwhile, Rwandan President Paul Kagame said his country will deal with any confrontation from South Africa after its 13 peacekeepers in eastern Congo were killed. Townhall.com. Big retailer taking some heat for giving up on DEI, following the lead of a lot of other businesses.
Hey, ho, ho! Target companies got...
Civil rights activists gathered outside Target Corporation headquarters Thursday in Minneapolis to protest the company's decision to phase out diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Civil rights attorney Nakima Armstrong.
We thought that they would continue to stand for the values that we all hold dear, but instead they acted cowardly. Yeah. Well, we are here today saying we will not bow down.
Target has joined Walmart and a number of other American brands in scaling back their DEI initiatives, which have come under attack from conservatives. I'm Donna Water.
Apple reports iPhone sales dipped slightly during the holiday season quarter, a sluggish start to the trend-setting company's bid to catch up to the rest of big tech, the race to bring AI to the masses. Townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio. Yeah.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Friday. Finally here.
Yes, you are correct, sir.
We made it.
We did.
It's the last day of January, too, isn't it?
It was, I was saying earlier, I said, this month has been the longest year of my life.
Well, the final day of it.
Yes.
Sunday, we will know.
Burn through it.
We'll know Sunday. 6 more weeks of winter.
Mm-hmm. Although, I read a story yesterday.
You know?
Did you know that Punxsutawney Phil, for all his pomp and circumstance, and for being obviously the most famous of the prognosticators, is only the 17th most accurate weather-predicting groundhog?
17th?
Yeah.
There's 16 others?
Not even because, there's places that have like a snake or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm talking about specifically groundhogs or groundhog-adjacent animals. So like squirrels, hamsters, things like that. Of all of those creatures, 17th most accurate, and 3 of them that beat him, stuffed animals.
Dang.
I'm just saying, we put so much faith in Punxsutawney Phil, but that prognosticator or prognosticators might not be as weather accurate as we all thought he was.
I would like to compare his track record just to meteorologists at local weather station. I would argue his numbers are just as good.
Well, apparently he's accurate. What do they say? 27% of the time.
That sounds about right with weathermen.
Is what it works out to. What I love about that story, though, is that some guy's whole job for like probably a good solid 2 weeks was to track down every weather predicting groundhog or groundhog adjacent creature in the country to compare numbers. He had to go through a whole statistics course to figure out how to plot and chart this.
See, every time I picture these folks, I always picture them in a basement, very dark, lots of hair, an ashtray just way over full with cigarette butts.
Right. Or just the like you said, dark basement, but the light of a vape every like 25 seconds.
Right, I should update it to modern
LED
times.
on your face. But yeah, just hunched over a laptop trying to find every single, like, the track record of 40 years for...
And the fight's like, I've done it.
I'm going to find that list. But yeah, it was like there's 16 other predictors that were more accurate than he was.
I want to know is, like, the people that actually decide what Phil's going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do they consult a farmer's almanac?
You mean Bill Murray's brother, right?
Right. Doyle Murray or whatever his name is.
I really do think that they have some kind of...
Like, does someone consult a farmer's almanac or something and say, all right, we're going to, that's, like, somebody picks what's going to come out of Phil's mouth.
Right.
And I'm kind of curious how that gets there.
I do at least hope that they check weather trends and possibly...
Right, like I'm thinking at least they like consult a farmer's almanac or something, you know?
Punxsutawney Phil's accuracy is 35%.
Okay.
Whilst in the first place spot, Staten Island Chuck out of New York.
Ooh.
His accuracy is 85%.
Ooh.
Yeah, he's good. Second place goes to General Beauregard Lee out of Georgia. His accuracy is 80%. All the names are great.
What are they all groundhogs?
They're, like I said, groundhogs or groundhog adjacent.
Okay.
So
Could be like a mole or a
Lander
beaver.
Lil out of Wyoming is 75%. Fourth place goes to Concord Charlie out of West Virginia, 65%. Then there's Gertie the Groundhog out of Illinois, 65%. Jimmy the Groundhog in Wisconsin is 60%. Woodstock Willie in Illinois' accuracy is 60%. Buckeye Chuck in Ohio is 55%, while ninth place goes to French Creek Freddy out of West Virginia, whose accuracy is 55%. Rounding out the top 10 is Melvin Mel. That's hard to say. Malvern Mel out of New York, whose accuracy is 55%. There you go.
Yeah. A, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Why are, who's that guy collecting these stats? But B, who are all these people consulting animals on what the next 6 weeks of winter are going to be? I mean, you think about it, it's
this is proof positive of just how influential the movie Groundhog Day actually was.
I want to see this same guy or one of his do the because we're about to hit it next week. It'll happen all next week if it's not already now. Where we're going to have various animals picking the Super Bowl winner.
I was going to say, like, forget the Puppy Bowl this year. Let's have Groundhog Bowl.
Right.
Just pit all the groundhogs against each other.
They've been advertising the Puppy Bowl for weeks now.
Yeah.
Like I was, it's, it was a hard sell. I was watching, a month ago, and they're like, the Super Bowl's coming, but nobody cares. And it's the Puppy Bowl. I'm like, the Puppy Bowl's being marketed this heavy now? All right, then.
Apparently the Superman's going to get a lot of marketing. The new Superman movie, during the Puppy Bowl.
During the Puppy Bowl? Oh, that's what it is they have a lot of money behind him this year.
It's a lot cheaper than advertising in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, it's because he's got a dog, too. And
right,
because of crypto.
There's crypto in this one.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some trailer for it.
Yeah, the first teaser came out where...
It looked so CGI-y that it looked fake.
There are parts that
like it looked bad. It looked so CGI. Like it looked like everything was so CGI.
The whole trailer or just the dog?
Everything. Superman, everything looked digitized. It looked weird.
A little bit, yeah, but there are some things, some takeaways from the teaser trailer that people are really enjoying, like the comic book accuracy of some of the characters.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It looked like some creepy
there was one shot
VR video.
particular in like a TV spot where everyone's pointing out now, where he's like flying directly towards the camera, like Top Gun Maverick style.
Yeah.
But his face looks like awkward, like it's that wide camera angle lens.
It looked oogie to me. Like I just saw it to me, and like it looked very HR.
Like one eye's going this way, the other eye's going that way.
I don't know. I think I tend to look at things through a bit of a foggy lens when I first watch it, just to kind of like base enjoy it or base hate it.
Yeah.
Like I'll nitpick it later, but I want to see, am I interested in this? Because the first time I saw it, I'm like, I have to see this movie.
Yeah.
I just have to live long enough to see this movie, and then whatever happens, happens.
I don't know about all the hype. I just saw the trailer teaser, and I was like, it looked like fake people to me. It just looked, it looked almost like animation. I was just,
the new Captain America comes out on Valentine's Day. I'm genuinely excited to see what they do with Harrison Ford as Red Hulk.
Is that who he is?
Yeah, it's Harrison Ford. He
and
plays
now
the president /
the guy that played Falcon is Captain America, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who played Falcon.
Right.
not Falcon, but the guy who played Falcon.
But is it the same character?
Yes.
Right. Like he's the dude that was Falcon. Yeah. Now he's the dude that's Captain America.
Yeah. The only time they retcon a character is for Iron Man.
But I mean, he's like he evolved. Like Cap died or retired or whatever, and Falcon said, "I got it."
Yeah.
Pretty much, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of how it went. Yeah.
He was passed. It was the mantle was passed on.
Right. I saw the movie. I can't remember. I just remember. I get all those Marvel movies start to bleed together in my head.
I'll be
at
honest.
One point.
I stopped watching most of the Marvel movies and just have kept up with it based on memes and social interactions. Like, I feel like I've seen all of Civil War and all that.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I've never actually sat down and watched it.
Well, I've seen more memes of Thanos than anything in the history of memes, I think.
That snap is one of the most famous snaps in cinematic history.
Right.
That snap is right up there with
West Side Story?
West Side Story, thank you.
Well, Harrison Ford is also playing the same character that William Hurt played in Civil War and all those movies before he passed away.
Oh, okay.
So they recast him with Harrison Ford, and they just said, "I just shaved my mustache," because he had a mustache. And
whatever happened to Robert Redford? His character get killed and all that because he was
no. What happened was he retired from movies officially, right?
Who, Redford did?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he had his last movie, which is like The Old Man with a Cane or something like that.
I was gonna say he put one out just a year ago.
But then they brought him back for Avengers Endgame just because they needed him for a small role that he played because they go back in the past.
Well, it was like a hollow version of him. Like I think when they're like a scene where he's like one of the hollow people in a meeting about something. Yeah.
March
and they go
23rd.
back in the past in Endgame, and he's there. So he has to be there for that specific scene. So that was technically his last movie.
The Old Man and the Gun was the last full movie.
Yeah.
In March 23rd of 2022, Redford, 81, announced, "That's enough," and he retired. But that was his quote: "Was that's enough."
All right. That's all I have to say about that.
Good luck, everybody else.
Well, all right then.
Set the drapes on fire and head out of here.
That's right. Below this popsicle stand. But all right, Dan.
You know that idiom? I never heard it as popsicle stand.
No,
I've always heard it as pop stand.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I've always heard popsicle
And
stand.
so that's like when you say popsicle, it's like, is that what they mean when they say pop stand? Because I never actually
let's blow this pop
put the
stand.
spurs to the brain about that saying. It's like, what is a pop stand? But a popsicle stand makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Like a soda stand?
like a pop-up soda fountain.
Yeah, that's maybe what I'm thinking.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Or a bunch of just dads standing around pop stand.
Just a bunch of dads.
I like King of the Hill style.
We call that the stand dad.
Well, let me give you the rundown for today's show. This hour, we're going to replay our interview we had with Mark Green from Harvest Ministries. He joined us a week or two ago. They need volunteers very badly. They've just usually Mark was talking about. Usually, we're very good with volunteers and all that, but a lot of folks are getting retired. Kind of stepping back a little bit. So we need a new batch of volunteers to step up here and get involved. So we'll talk with Mark here, play that interview in just a bit. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, we're going to have Charles Eastless, Undersheriff for the Chaves County Sheriff's Department, join us. Give us an update on what's happening out at the Sheriff's Department. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, we're going to have folks from the Fine Arts League join us. Tammy Alvarez will join us. And then world-renowned body artist Mark Reed will also be joining us. And they're having a big membership drive for the Roswell Fine Arts League, the first at Encanto Event Center here. And Mark Reed will be there doing his painting. One of the things I've always known or kind of seen him do is right around this time of year when they get the Super Bowl teams announced.
Yep.
He'll usually get a couple models and paint them up in the team colors and then do a whole artistic photo thing. It's kind of, matter of fact, one of the ones he uses as an artist all the time, she's been in a bunch of friend, I guess you could say. She's a bunch of organizations and stuff, so it's kind of neat to say, I was kind of hoping.
I know one of your cases.
That's right. I was kind of hoping he'd paint a Commander's one this year, but
I'm just saying, I have, besides these, I have 0 tattoos on me. I'm just saying, I have a massive canvas back here.
There you go.
Interested. You can put the Sistine Chapel on this bad boy.
He's like, you got the players. Paint me as the field. How are you doing?
I was kind of hoping for tableside guacamole. Paint me up as tableside guac.
Paint
me like one of your French girls.
But so we'll have Mark, we'll have Tammy, and then we'll talk all about the membership drive they got happening here out at Encanto this weekend. Plus, we'll have all of your features that include newses of the local, national variety, Wall Street business updates, and whatever else we can come up with for today's show.
So, by the way,
yes.
Pop Stand stands for soda pop. The earliest version that anybody could find is in the movie Rancho Deluxe from 1975. Quote, "Come on, Henry, let's blow this pop stand. I want to get to Great Falls and spin my cut." Popsicle Stand appears to be a corruption or parody from an episode of Mork and Mindy in 1979.
Okay.
So that makes more sense why you would have heard it, because...
Well, and I knew it was from... And I think what's happened is Mork... And I didn't know it was Mork and Mindy, but I'm kind of... I figured it was picked up from some movie or something where they spoofed it. But I seem to remember a lot in the 90s where there was a lot of these, let's blow this popsicle stand. It just seemed
I think it's one of those that's just used interchangeably.
Yeah.
Like how soda is called different things in parts of the country.
By the way, real quick, since you mentioned Mork and Mindy, it spawned in my head. I used to watch The Walking Dead religiously and all that. It was a pretty good show, and then I kind of faded out when they started putting Fears and 17 others. Well, on Netflix recently, they put up a couple spin-off shows that they put out that I think if you missed on AMC, you had to get on AMC Plus. I never got them, but I was mildly curious of them. One of them was one with Daryl Dixon, like a whole little miniseries on Daryl. And then there was another miniseries on what's his name? The main dude when he got picked up by the helicopter and all that.
I remember the one about Daryl that everybody was talking about.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I watched. So then they threw them up on Netflix. I was like, I'll be curious. There's like little six-part episodes.
Sure.
If you like the Walking Dead, a little missing. It was kind of a nice little thing. But I watched the Daryl Dixon one, and it's funny. So this one is he's in this. See what happened in the if you ever watch Walking Dead, it's kind of all takes place right around Georgia, Virginia, kind of in that. Well, these kind of offshoot things kind of show you the world and more of
what was happening
outside of that.
While all this was happening, the rest of the world was happening.
Yeah, kind of deal. So the Daryl Dixon one, he's in France.
Oh, France.
But he ends up on a boat, and then so the series picks up with him on the beach in France, and so he's trying to get back home. And so he runs into a whole France thing. but that's kind of an interesting one. But the part that made me laugh, and this is what I brought up in this conversation, was there was a scene in one of the episodes where they come up on an orphanage of kids, and the head mistress, master, whatever you call her, was kind of dying of the the stuff. Everything's happening out there. Gonna be a zombie soon.
She was zombing out.
Yeah. And but the kids kind of ran the thing, and they ran it very nice. And this is a religious one, actually. This one's the most religious of the bunch, because it's kind of talking about a second Messiah type thing and all that. So it gets into that area. But anyway, these kids are all at the orphanage, and so they're pretty self-sufficient kids and all that. But for their entertainment, they've managed to get the power up, and they have a little 13-inch TV, and they got the power thing, and they got VHS tapes. And so every night they watch Mork and Mindy.
Mork and Mindy.
And it's
Nice.
this episode, and the kids know it. Like, they're all like saying it by heart. Nanu, na. Matter of fact, one of their, spoiler alert, people die at the end. They all send them off with a nanu, nanu.
Nice.
I mean, it's kind of funny because it's serious, but you're like, they just nanu that kid.
It's just one of those. And honestly, when you're in like a really serious, poignant moment and then just something kind of funny happens, it becomes the funniest thing in the world.
It's just about nanu.
Because it just breaks up the tension, you know?
Right. So, but anyway, sorry, that's a long run around to get to that, but that's what that was.
Nanu.
Nanu to you. And also to you. 7:23, here is your weather.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty clear out there for Roswell, Carlsbad, and Artesia. As we're pushing through the early morning time, we're going to see a decrease in that strong wind. Overnight lows are ranging from the mid to upper 20s. Abundant sunshine for any Friday plans you have. Highs are right around 65 degrees. Dry and milder this weekend. Plenty of sunshine Saturday with highs low 70s. We're pushing up to the upper 70s on Sunday with fair weather. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore.
Excuse me. Thank you, Jennifer. Currently 29 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 72% with winds out of the north at 3 miles per hour. It's just getting warmer for here. We'll be in the 60s today, sunny and 64. Winds will be out of the south at around 5 miles per hour. Tonight, skies will be clear. Still chilly overnight, 25 for an overnight low. South winds at around 5 miles per hour. For tomorrow, sunny, near 70. Now they're saying 69 officially, but it'll feel 70. It'll feel nice. It's good. We'll be all right. Winds will be, looks like out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, clear with an overnight low of 35 degrees, so warming up overnight as well. Southwest winds 5 to 10. 78 and sunny on Sunday. Winds will be out of the west, 5 to 10 miles per hour. And then Monday, when you head back to work and school and all that, 80 for a high under sunny skies. Tuesday, mostly sunny. Once again, highs near 80, sunny and 82 on Wednesday. And then Thursday, dropping down into 76 and sunny. So nicer temperatures are on the way. Drink it in. Enjoy. All right, it is 7:25. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Then we're going to play our interview with Mark Green from Harvest Ministries. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
The new year, new ride sales event is on now at Roswell Nissan with 0 down, 0% APR available, and up to $4,000 more for your trade. Hundreds of vehicles in stock, and I-10s are welcome. Is your current payment too high? Roswell Nissan can help. Payoff too high? Roswell Nissan can help. Interest rate too high? Roswell Nissan has got you covered. Trade in your keys and trade up to a fresh ride in 2025 during the new year, new ride sales event on now at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd. The Roswell Symphony Orchestra presents Shearer Plays Vaughn Williams, Saturday, March 1st at Pearson Auditorium, featuring Dr. Jim Shearer, professor of tuba at New Mexico State University, in the Vaughn Williams Concerto for Tuba and Orchestra, plus Beethoven's 7th Symphony, along with works by Barber, Sibelius, and Mozart. Get tickets and more information at roswellsymphony.org or by calling 575-623-5882. Shearer Plays Vaughn Williams, Saturday, March 1st at Pearson Auditorium in Roswell. Sponsored in part by Dr. John and Ms. Deanne Kaysen and the Roswell Lodgers Tax.
At the end of the book of Jonah, Jonah prays these words: I knew that you were a gracious God, slow to anger and abounding in love, a God who relents from sending calamity. What a great testament to God. But Jonah says this in anger, as God had forgiven the enemies of Jonah when they repented. He's angry because these people received a gift from God that he feels wasn't deserved. Jonah decided these people didn't deserve God's grace. Fortunately, God gives everyone the opportunity to experience his grace and forgiveness. It doesn't matter how bad we've been. God's grace is available to all at any time. Jonah didn't realize that none of us are worthy of God's forgiveness. Thankfully, God sent his son Jesus, who lived the only perfect life, to be the ultimate sacrifice for our sins. God's forgiveness is not based on our merit, but on Christ's sacrifice. Join us to learn how you can have access to the grace and compassion of God, who is abounding in his love for you.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
The average American spends 2.5 days a year looking for lost items. We aren't sure how long Europeans and Asians look for lost stuff. We lost the list. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 7 o'clock. And joining us in studio this morning from Harvest Ministries, Pastor Mark Greenback with us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mike.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Same to you. Thanks for having me.
How's life at Harvest Ministries? I know
Harvest
busy.
is going strong. It is. Yeah, it's busy.
I know it's been the last 6 months of the year have been an extreme case of needs for a lot of folks around here.
It has been, yeah.
Between Ruidoso and Roswell, it's been a busy year for Harvest Ministries and organizations like it.
Right, all of our regular stuff, plus all of the extracurricular floods and fires and all of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, which really kind of gets to the big thing that we're talking about here is with need increasing, and things like that. You guys are needing more volunteers, folks that are able to spend some time serving at Harvest Ministries, and whether it's a couple hours a day or a week or whatever it is you can offer, it would be much appreciated right now.
Absolutely. We have, for the 13 years I've been there, we have not had a volunteer shortage at Harvest. I mean, we have had volunteers who come up and they will work for a while and say, well, there's nothing for me to do. I'm going to go ahead and go. That's not the case right now.
Sure. Well, and here's, this is people with the time available to do long time are generally retired folks, things like that. And after a while, retired folks, life happens, and you can't, you don't have the ability to serve as much.
Well,
as
we have people who still serve into we have people who are in their 80s,
sure,
and a couple in their 90s, and so
8-hour days for them is a long ask.
Yeah. So it's not 8 hours. So for distribution, we're open Monday through Thursday, and then we also work doing pickups and all that stuff on Friday.
Sure.
And it's Monday through Thursday, and most of our volunteers work 3 hours or less.
Okay.
So it's generally going to be between 8 and 11, 11:30, something like that. So it's not long hours, and some of them a few come every day, but most of them come once or twice a week. So it's not a huge commitment, but it is a tremendous help to us.
And this is really one of those where many hands make less work type of things. If we have more volunteers and let's face it, some of the work does require picking up cans and heavy things, and I'm sorry, we don't want our 80 or 90-year-olds to be doing that type of work.
So for that kind of thing, we have our employees or our younger people doing all the heavy lifting. But
we could, so I would love to see families do this together and bring the young ones with them to show them that server's heart.
We actually do during the holidays. Usually we'll have it's usually a mom and some kids will come up, but sometimes the whole family will come up. So during the holidays, school break, and during the summer, we do have families come up. And
good.
Yeah, we always enjoy it.
Well, continue that. But if we've got right now, we could use a little bit more of that. And if folks have the time available, please reach out. We would love to have even if it's just an hour a day or an hour or 2 hours a week, whatever it is. It would be a blessing to us to help.
Absolutely, and we've lost some of our seniors. We lost a couple of wonderful guys last year, Jim Lair and Jim Watson. Stan Lair and Jim Watson, who went on to their reward. I can tell you, they definitely went on to a reward.
They had the server's heart. And
Stan was in his 90s, and Jim's an incredible story. So Jim Watson, this man, just one of the nicest people you ever meet in your life. He was from Minnesota, bought a RV park in Carlsbad, sight unseen. And the thing was dilapidated, so I think 120 spaces, something like that. It's a huge place. But he and his wife renovated it, and they got it just before the oil boom. And so everything filled up.
The planet line?
The
planets aligned there.
Exactly. So he was able to sell that for a lot of money. And then moved up here and retired. But then he didn't know what to do with himself. He said, I became bored and depressed and thought, what am I doing here? And one of the pastors from Christchurch said, you need to go talk to Pastor Mark down at Harvest. And he came down and talked to us, started volunteering, never left. Volunteered every single day. For 10 years, Jim was back.
I love.
And one of our most faithful, and not only, he didn't just volunteer at Harvest, he caught the burden for the homeless, and he would go out himself. He would, at his own expense, he would buy them food, take care of them.
So he actually built relationships with folks there, and that's the key when it comes to those homeless communities. You really, trust is a big thing there, and so it takes a lot of working to build a trust with that, and he was able to go in and do that.
He
so
was,
that's impressive.
and Jim wasn't, so he didn't spend the last 10 years of his life wondering if the weather was good enough for golf, or where are we going to eat today, or, Reader's Digest condensed books. There was nothing wrong with any of those things.
Sure.
But he spent the last 10 years of his life, the first half of the day, serving his community. And
he found his purpose again.
Exactly.
Is what it sounds like,
So retirees, people who just have a little extra, or if you work a different shift of the day, maybe you work nights or evenings, something like that, and you can come once or twice a week and volunteer 2 or 3 hours. It is a tremendous help for us.
I would even offer, much like the story you're telling here, sometimes when you hit certain plateaus in life and things, you do seek purpose, or seek, what do I do now? What's my thing? My kids are raised. What do I do next? Whatever that milestone in life happens, you have those in life, and you are seeking, all right, what's going to keep the juices flowing now?
I did a study a while back on what happens when people retire if they don't have a definite purpose for their lives, that their cognitive abilities start going down exponentially from the first year on. But in just doing word puzzles, things like that, they think, well, I'll keep my mind sharp. Your mind knows that those are mindless activities, and you still lose cognitive function. So
it's been around a while too, your brain.
So if you're retiring, or if you've got extra time on your hands, do something with a purpose.
Sure.
And volunteer at Harvest or somewhere else, and in your church, but stay active. Keep your mind active.
Absolutely. And I say this a lot, and I know people get tired of hearing it because I say it probably ad nauseum on this radio, but if every able-bodied person in Roswell, New Mexico picked one thing, I don't care what the passion is, but pick thing that spoke to them, whether it's working in youth sports, or working with animals, or working with homeless, or working with like a place like Harvest Ministries, or whatever charitable thing you're doing. If every able-bodied, just pick the one thing. You don't have to pick 6 or just one thing, and spend a couple hours a week involved with that. I guarantee most of our nonprofit organizations probably wouldn't have many of those kind of volunteer issues.
Yeah, because you probably know people who really just, that's not their thing, so they don't get involved in anything. And you're absolutely right. And sometimes you don't know that you enjoy something until you do it.
Yeah.
And at Harvest Ministries, our volunteers come in. They usually grab a cup of coffee, sit around and talk until we get busy. And once we get busy, it's all hands on deck. And then when it winds down, they stand around, talk for a while, and then they leave. So it's good fellowship,
Absolutely.
good work, for a good cause.
I was about to say, yes, you're out serving and helping, but I'm going to take a stab that every volunteer takes more home with them every night than they given. You know what I mean? It's just the nature of the work and how you feel after all said.
And when you're working at Harvest Ministries, you're doing something good. It's not always pleasant. Some of our people have, especially if they're homeless. Many of our homeless, not all, but many of our homeless have either drug, alcohol addiction, or mental
health
or
issues,
emotional issues,
or both,
or all together.
Yeah.
And they're not easy to deal with sometimes. And so it's not always pleasant. But when you leave for the day, you have done something good. You have helped your fellow man, and somebody who's in a desperate situation doesn't even have a place to shower, to store their stuff or whatever, and you've given them a sense of normalcy for the day.
And folks like that, it's all about picking away at the armor a little bit. So day one, it's a little cantankerous. Day 2, a little less. You know what I mean? But as the relationship builds, it goes from hating each other probably to, it's all right, dude. You just misunderstood. Right. You know what I mean?
Right. And you see the people around town, and you call them by name. Hey, how are you doing today? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
And you know them. They know you.
Yeah.
And they also know that you care for them.
Absolutely.
And so it really
humanity,
makes a huge difference.
Showing the humanity and showing that love. That's killing with kindness. That is exactly what's going on at Harvest Ministries. And it's like, I know where you're coming from. Despite all that, we're going to love you regardless. And if you do that enough times, it starts sinking in, and it starts peeling away at the issues, the walls that they're building, and they start opening their heart to humanity again. And that's despite handing out cans of food and whatever they need, you're handing out a lot of that too.
Yeah, we are, and that's what we try to do. It's more than just food. I mean, for those who don't know Harvest Ministry, so we're the food bank in Chaves County, and we distribute to 14 other agencies here in town besides the people that we give to, our clients.
It's an amazing story because it literally grew from the back of a trunk of a car.
It did, yeah.
To literally being Roadrunner Food Bank for Southeast New Mexico.
Right.
And and it's all done by people. It wasn't, it was just grassroots. It was
that's right,
starting with just some caring people, and it just grew from there. And that's
started with Pastor Ruby and Kurt Gass. Kurt Gass put Ruby in connection with the people he needed to get the thing going, and we're coming up on the 25th anniversary now, so it's been around for a while.
That's amazing.
And for people don't know, we're the food bank, but we also have showers for the homeless. We do their laundry. We feed them breakfast every morning.
Give me a place to get off the streets for at least a little bit to get human a little bit. Yeah.
And we do home church for the homeless on Sunday morning. It's a church service just for the homeless. Anybody can come, but all of our volunteers are from different churches. So we all come together early, 8:30. Of course, the homeless are up early. When the sun's up, they're usually up. And then
depending on when you go to work early in the morning, it's not uncommon to see a line out in front of Harvest Ministries at 6 in the morning.
A lot of them try to, when the sun's coming up, wherever they are, they're trying to get up and get out before the sun comes up. But so we have a Sunday morning service for them at 8:30, and we feed them breakfast, a hot breakfast. We have a service for them, very short service. Their attention span's not long. You would think it might be with not having much to do every day, but it's not. So it's one of the shortest services in town. We usually try to keep the whole thing to under 30 minutes. So.
Brevity can be your friend sometimes.
That's true. And so here I've got some stats for you from last year.
Yeah.
So we had visits to Harvest for food distribution. That's groceries. We had 14,211 visits.
Wow.
So that's repeat people as well. They can come back every 30 days. So it's not 14,000 people, but 14,211
Well,
visits.
even if you still divide that by 12, that's still a lot of...
It is a lot. Not everybody comes every month. Not everybody needs us every month.
I'm just spitballing, yeah.
Right. So household totals in those 14,000 was 21,650. So, we're definitely taking care of a need here in Chaves County.
Absolutely.
And we served 15,000. So the breakfast and the food distribution, those numbers are kept separate. So we served 15,033 breakfasts last year. And we have processed close to 8 million pounds since we started, but we have grown so fast in the past few years that last year it's kind of like the census. We're always 2,000 short of that 50,000.
Yeah,
well,
right.
we were about 2,000 short of 1 million pounds last year alone. Wow. So 997,622 pounds of food we processed through Harvest Ministries.
That's incredible.
We were able to do that because of volunteers. So we had 11,200 hours of volunteer service. But that sounds like a lot, but that's actually down. So we're usually at 13,000.
Well, and to be honest, look at the other numbers you're giving me. 14, 1 million, all done by 11,000 hours of people. I mean, that
volunteer
hours. Exactly. That's kind of a paltry number compared to the other numbers.
Yeah. and obviously, we don't have a congregation who gives tithes and offerings.
Sure.
So Harvest Ministries depends on donations from our community, but also donations from Walmart, Sam's, Albertsons, Target, Leprino, other stores, other organizations, food drives, Roswell Independent School District, the university. All of them have food drives. They all keep us going.
Yeah.
So the great thing is that it takes a community, but we have a wonderful community that makes it happen.
Absolutely.
Here.
Well, and that's to get the amounts of food donated and brought here, you kind of have to have a lot of eggs in different baskets, and that's really what we're but this is why generally Mark will join us here during the summer months or in the late spring months, because like you said, the RASD, that is a big one.
It is huge.
When those kids go on summer break, that dries up a resource there.
It
really
does. Yeah, we really dry up in the summer. Usually by the end of August, our shelves are bare. So,
I have just like you're talking about the meals served and everything else, and of course you listen to the big picture and people talking. It was like, I know they're bringing more homeless to the community.
Mm-hmm.
From your perspective and what you're seeing at Harvest Ministries, have those numbers grown as far as numbers of people come to your door? Are you seeing a difference at Harvest Ministries?
Yeah, so our numbers are up, but it's not that we're bringing more homeless now. That a lot of the Albuquerque and Clovis, other places shipping their homeless here, that stopped as far as we could tell. Their counterparts here in the city and the county.
So that was happening,
it
definitely
was happening, yeah.
They've turned the spigot off for the moment.
They basically said, you either stop this or we're going to make it national news that you're shipping your homeless down here.
Gotcha.
So That stopped.
Good.
And,
well, I mean, we're going to take care of them regardless.
Yeah, absolutely. But most of the homeless we serve are local, or if they're not local, they've been here for many years.
Gotcha.
So it's not a recent thing.
Well,
but
I would imagine some of these populations that they ship in are transient by nature. They probably moved on to the next thing if they could.
Some are, yeah. A lot are.
So but that being said, some are probably still here where they were dropped off. So
yeah. But if you consider food costs pre-COVID, they're over 30% higher than they were, and I think it's higher than that actually. But our figures, they tell us they're right at 32%. I think food increase since 19.
And that's really the big thing too, is with the COVID, with all these things, the supply and demand chain has gotten much trickier, and unfortunately the people at the bottom of the chain are going to see less, and that's your donations and things like Harvest Ministries, you guys, and the pipeline of getting food to people. That's a lower priority than, especially in a crisis situation.
Plus the housing market. We have a shortage of housing, especially low-income housing. And we have people who will qualify for HUD. They get their voucher, and they can't find a house, even with that. And then, of course, real estate has gone crazy. And so people can't afford a house. And they're living with family, and they get in a fight with a family. Then they're living in their car, and then they're homeless.
Well, and I personally think, and we're getting a little philosophical here, but personally, I mean, to solve this problem, it's going to be, I got to be honest, it's going to be a Harvest Ministries like event, where it's going to have to be we the people getting down and creating things like it. And I kind of, my brain always points to like, look, we're in southeast New Mexico. Land is not a problem around here. We got plenty of it. Yeah. We can figure this out. Somewhere we can build something that creates a hive of some kind of place where homeless folks can get back on their feet and transition to whatever life they pursue. Right. We can build a facility that allows that, whether it's a trailer city or whatever.
Right. And those things are, it should be an easy solution.
Yes.
It's not, though. It's going to be complicated. It's going to be very...
Well, I know there's the not my backyard, the land and all this, but I'm
coding,
like, man.
Codes and zoning and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, we got a whole lot of nothing out here.
There's a lot
Certainly we could put something somewhere. Someone with a... Look, it's just sitting here collecting dirt. Let's put something on it.
I agree, absolutely. As long as they don't put it next to my property.
As long as it's not...
Exactly.
But that's the beat. I don't think it has to be. I think with enough, we could put out in the county, and it's not in anybody's backyard, really.
Yeah.
And we're able to facilitate and make things happen.
In the meantime, we're going to do what we can.
But this is what we got in the meantime here. So please volunteer. Donations, keep those coming in. I know, like Jocelyn works with our Food Not Bombs and stuff, and like you said, you deal with homeless, and predominantly you collect food. But are you taking like coat, sleeping bag donations and stuff?
So I was just telling them this week I just gave away our last sleeping bag. So normally I go out and buy about 20 low temp sleeping bags.
But they're kind of hard to find right now, aren't they?
And to supplement what we get donated. They may and if you do find them, they may be very expensive.
Yeah, see, Jocelyn's saying she's having trouble locating as well.
Usually at Walmart you can buy the cheap ones for like $30 or so, but.
Any REI or one of these folks listening want to donate a couple hundred sleep bags to
Roswell? Really, because people will freeze to death when it's down at 10 degrees, and that may be lower.
This
than
weekend is they're like 13 is an overnight low, like Tuesday night, 16 the night before. Sunday night's gonna be another. These people don't make it the next morning. These are people die of frostbite or
and I'm glad
hypothermia
they've
and all
opened the warming center, but they also need volunteers for that. So.
That's part of the problem, too, is they need more volunteers. We need bodies. We need boots on the ground. And so this is really why Mark's here to begin with, is saying, hey, if you got the time, if you got the kindness in your heart to spend a couple hours, trust me, if you're looking for something to feed your own soul, this is it. If you're feeling that, the winter blues, I'm looking for purpose, or what am I doing? I'm spinning my wheels. Spend an hour at Harvest Ministries.
Absolutely. Yeah, just come down and just come check it out. Come check it out and see what you think about it.
Come meet the volunteers.
When we're talking about hunger, a a lot of, you might look at someone and say, well, they don't look hungry to me. But really what we're talking about is food insecurity, where they're having to choose between food and something else, food and medicine, or food and putting gas in their car.
Yeah.
So they may not be hungry.
But somewhere else in their life is lacking.
Exactly. And so that's what we're trying to supplement that so that they don't have to say, well, I can either buy shoes for my kid or I can buy food. So that's it. But you know what? I tried to do a Matt Briscoe thing and look up. I thought, man, maybe I can come up with a really amazing thing about the definition of a hunger. So what I found was the word hunger is from the Proto-European word hunger.
Okay.
And it's the same in English, German, Swiss, Icelandic. It's the same. But the definition is, you'll be surprised at this, discomfort because of lack of food. So there's nothing amazing about the word hunger. And I did find out is not related to the word Hungarian. So a person who is hungry is not a Hungarian.
That's right. So it's not a country of hungry people.
No. It's a different situation. Although I do know of a pastor who introduced a special guest speaker from Ghana, West Africa. And he said, today we have a Ghanaian with us. So a person from Ghana is not a Ghanaian, and a person from Hungary is not necessarily hungry.
That's a good tip, because if I meet someone from Ghana, I don't want to, this is my Ghanaian friend.
So I thought I may have to leave the etymology to Matt. He may have to. I struck out on that one.
Although I would argue, when it comes to the first man on Earth, hunger was one of the first things we figured out pretty quick. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
And
you can eat of any of this.
I was saying, and that apple started a whole thing of things. So
that's true.
Hunger started it all.
Yeah, that's true. The first sin happened because of food.
That's right. Yeah. But Mark is always do appreciate it, and folks, please reach out. It is, and unfortunately, with the weather and the temps, that escalates the priority and the need here. So if you're able, reach out today. Call Harvest Ministries. Get Facebook, if you can find Harvest Ministries online. What's the actual website? I just Google Harvest Ministries.
Harvestmen.net.
There you go. You can go there or do what I do and just Google Harvest Ministries, Roswell, New Mexico, and it'll pop right up. The Facebook page as well. Reach out, like, and follow there. Or come on by. They're located right downtown adjacent, basically. You come down on Main Street and about 3 blocks right outside the actual heart of downtown there.
And we also have, of course, a donate button on our website.
And money is always, if you can't donate time or food, checks do help, because that supplements when that fills the gaps. When there's a greater need for something that's not in being collected or donation, they can use that to fill that void. When there's not enough meat to deliver, we can use that money to make sure those coffers are taken care of.
We do. Yep. But our greatest need, imminent need right now, is volunteers.
Is boots on the ground, folks and please, if you can donate an hour, if you can donate a day, if you can donate, a couple hours a week, whatever it is, and please, and all are welcome. Bring family, bring, come single, come family, come whatever it is. We'd love to have you serve. Obviously, we are dealing with homeless and things, so if you, age appropriate on some of this stuff, and you know what, if they're real young up, we can find them in the back and they can move cans around or something.
Absolutely.
We can find a spot for them.
Well,
that keeps them out of the spotlight.
A lot of times what we have them do is make the day bags that we give out to the homeless. So not only do we feed them breakfast, but we give them a day bag for the rest of the day that's got a meat and some crackers, some fruit, and a granola bar and some water and that sort of thing. And so a lot of times we have them make up those bags.
Absolutely. And really, it is kind of part of the routine for some of these folks where they kind of have their, like, probably in the mornings they're hitting Harvest Ministries, they got their day bag. Maybe midday they're hitting like the soup kitchen or one of the community kitchen or one of the things. Yeah. And then by dinner time, maybe it's out in the park. There's Food Not Bombs or one of the organizations got something. And that's kind of how they do it. But I also will tell you, like I know Food Not Bombs, they could use a lot of things like gift cards for like McDonald's and various fast food establishments up and down Main Street, because you kind of have different, like the ones in South Main are a part of a thing, and then the ones downtown, and they don't. So like you kind of need stuff specific for folks in those regions, kind of thing.
And I'll just add this again: if you see someone that says "hungry, please help" down on Main Street corner, they're probably not hungry. They have options all around them, including Harvest Ministry. They can get.
Food is not the problem.
They can get 3 meals a day, and so we encourage people to, really I mean, unless God tells you differently.
Sure.
I would say don't give them money. Usually that money is going to go
Feeding an addiction.
not to a good cause. It's usually feeding an addiction.
Yeah.
So, if you really want to help them, go buy them a hamburger or donate to one of the ministries that's actually doing the work
Absolutely.
to really help.
That's the one
help
I
them.
always like. It's like you see them out there. It's like hand them a bag of burgers or something.
Right.
And say, I'm not giving you money, but if you're hungry, here's a sack of burgers.
Yeah. I think we can overdo that too. I remember Mr. Rodriguez. Sometimes I'd go by there in the morning and he'd have like 5 Starbucks cups stacked up and a couple of bags. So everybody was helping him out. Maybe a little bit.
Probably the most caffeinated man.
Yeah.
Maybe decaf on a few of those.
Right.
But please reach out, come and this is how we fix these problems. We roll up our sleeves ourselves and we get to making our community better. And volunteering and being a part of organizations like Harvest Ministries is exactly how you do that. And by the way, you see a lot of other organizations that help with food and things. Harvest Ministries is kind of that supplement for that. So whatever food doesn't go out directly the Harvest Ministries doors is coming out of many organizations around Southeast
14 other
Mexico.
agencies here in the county.
Absolutely.
That we give to. Yeah.
So it's you're helping.
Actually, about a little over half goes out to our clients, and the other almost half goes out to our agencies.
Yeah, which will go to other clients and around. And so it's kind of getting back to what I was saying. Where it's kind of territorial. People that aren't within really walking distance of Harvest Ministries, it doesn't serve them. But some of these organizations farther north or farther south, they can kind of handle those needs.
We all work together.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's really what it is. It's logistics, and it's literally the food chain and getting the food to the folks where they're at and all that. So, but if you have questions about that, don't hesitate to come on down, and Mark and the volunteers will be happy to kind of show you the ropes and show you how it works and all that. So, Mark, is there anything we missed?
I don't think so. I think we covered it.
Well, thank you, sir. And
thank you.
Anytime you guys need our doors, please come out and reach out. We just appreciate the work you and your volunteers and staff do. I'm very scared to wonder what life around here would be like without it, and I'm not sure you'd like that answer.
Yeah, no. I know it makes all the difference in the world for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, it does. So thank you very much for that. And,
thank you for having me.
And every volunteer, God bless you. And keep doing what you're doing. And especially you 80, 90-year-olds, you probably got more energy than I do. We salute you. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
All right, it is 7:49. Let's pause for news. Kim Commando, quick break as well. Don't go away. you're scared to wonder what life around here will be like without it. And I'm not sure you'd like that answer.
Yeah, no. I know it makes all the difference in the world for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep, it does. So thank you very much for that. And,
thank you for having me.
And every volunteer, God bless you. And keep doing what you're doing. And especially you 80, 90-year-olds, you probably got more energy than I do. We salute you. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
All right, it is 7:49. Let's pause for news. Kim Commando, quick break as well. Don't go away.
Your home for Sean Hannity in Roswell. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
And we're closing in on 8 o'clock. Town Hall News up next. We'll be back on the other side of news. Don't go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. As the investigation of Wednesday night's Washington aviation disaster ramps up, a veteran helicopter pilot chimes in on the hazards of flying in the area when the crash occurred.
Retired Army helicopter pilot Darrell Feller is familiar with the area around Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport.
I had that exact same incident several years ago where I was flying south down the route at night, and there was a commercial jet landing on 3-3, and I could not see him.
Feller says it doesn't matter if weather conditions are clear.
Moving lights, they get mixed up with ground lights, with cars. You just can't see them, even with goggles on. Goggles actually make it worse down there. It's so bright.
Feller says he has warned pilots he's trained to be on the lookout for jets using runway 33. Ed Donahue, Washington.
President Trump signing an executive order directing the FAA to scrap DEI hiring policy.
We want the most competent people. We don't care what race they are.
The president's Department of Government Efficiency says it's already saving American taxpayers about $1 billion per day.
This week, DOGE shared some examples of its cost-cutting decisions. It revealed the termination of 3 leases of nearly empty office spaces, as well as the cancellation of certain DEI contracts. But on Thursday, DOGE released more updates. The report declared that in 10 days, DOGE has already saved the U.S. $34 billion. On social media site X, the department called it a good start, but said the number needed to increase to over $3 billion a day.
Correspondent Bernie Bennett. Something your wallet already knew, inflation is still very much with us. Commerce Department reports consumer prices rose 2.6% last month from a year earlier. That was up from a 2.4% annual pace in November, and it was the 3rd straight increase. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 16 points, the Nasdaq ahead 229 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Nicaragua's Marxist President Ortega tightening his and his family's grip on power. His wife has been named co-president.
Their children or his children may well end up being part of the executive branch in the coming years. Ultimately, the skeptics of this set of reforms think it is basically strengthening Ortega Murillo's hold over executive power in Nicaragua for when he dies, because he is currently 79, sometimes rumored to be in ill health. Of course, his supporters say that it is simply deepening and strengthening the Sandinista revolution.
The BBC's Will Grant. Myanmar's military government declaring another 6-month extension of its mandate to rule in preparation for elections. It is said will be held sometime this year, although an exact date for the election has not been announced. The army took control of the country 4 years ago. News and analysis at townhall.com. Europe's economy grinds to a halt.
The European Union Statistics Agency, Eurostat, said that gross domestic product was flat with a zero increase in the last 3 months of the year in the 20-nation Eurozone. Leading economies, Germany and France, are both unsettled by political turmoil. Germany's confusion could clear up after a national election on February the 23rd, following the collapse of Social Democrat Chancellor Olaf Scholz's governing coalition. The alliance had been mired in months of bickering over what to do about the economy. I'm Karen Shamas.
South Carolina is preparing to execute the third inmate to be put to death since September as the state goes through a backlog of prisoners who exhausted their appeals while the state could not find lethal injection drugs. Marion Bowman Jr.'s execution is scheduled for this evening. He was convicted of murder in the 2001 shooting death of a man. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2 of Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Friday, everybody.
The happiest.
Yeah. Warm weather on the way.
Should make for a fun weekend.
You could safely, I think, have an outdoor plan this weekend.
Yeah, this would be a great picnic weekend. Yeah. I mean, granted, the grass isn't super green, but, you know, go find yourself a turf field.
Yeah. Or maybe...
you know what? Go to one of your local car dealerships. You have that nice, that turfing, you know, in between the cars.
Well, maybe
just set yourself up a blanket. I'm sure they'll love it.
Maybe a trip out to Bottomless.
Ooh, there you go.
Maybe out there, go picnic out there. I don't know if I go swimming, but
no,
you know,
probably not swimming,
but you know, it's a good place to
hike
around.
They got the tables, lots of fields for frolicking.
Yeah, frolicking, eating.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
make sure there's no flammable material when you leave.
Exactly. Be good stewards.
Extinguish any smoking material.
Be good stewards of the land. But yeah, don't do that at Bitter Lake. You go there, but don't go there to picnic.
No.
Do your picnicking over at Bottomless.
Although they have a nice observation deck out there. I would reckon if you broke out a bag of Doritos while you're enjoying the view,
you'd be fine.
Just saying, it doesn't. Picnic is whatever you make it. It doesn't have to be checkered blanket and basket.
Sure.
Sharing a bag of Doritos with a loved one whilst enjoying a view.
I wonder, in all fairness, because I know there was a time, and I think it depends on the age of the couple. But there is, I'm going to guess, couples maybe a little younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
Say maybe your age, maybe late 30s, maybe into that area. There was a time.
Flattered, but go on.
Where late 30s to
early 40s,
to mid 40s.
I grasped
that window.
It.
The window.
I was going to hold on to the late 30s.
Hold on.
Extremely late 30s. Go on. I'm sorry.
Where it was very, very popular to give as a gift a picnic kit. And it usually was the basket and the little plastic plates, and
I do remember those being a thing for a while.
And I feel like there was some kind of wine glasses and some kind of chilling device. It was. I feel like the more expensive ones had more gadgets, but that was a thing for a minute just to give like picnic kits.
Right. You know what I feel like that was is, and I think you kind of nailed it, is that late 90s, super early 2000s, around the same time that for whatever reason, unbeknownst to anyone in society or humankind, swing music became a thing for a second.
Right.
When like Squirrel Nut Zippers and like, you know, Big Daddy Kane and all them were like,
I'm still trying to figure out, when did everyone discover meat and cheese on a board? Like,
charcuterie?
Yeah, like people talking like charcuterie. Have you heard of this charcuterie thing? I was like, yeah, I've been doing meat and cheese on crackers and plate since like the dawn of man. What are we talking about here?
In fairness, the charcuterie board has always been like a big thing in like high society, but once like
I don't think it. I think,
you know what I blame for the rise in charcuterie boards?
Yeah,
short form video.
Right.
Once we all figured out, you could put meats and cheeses on a board and call it something fancy.
By the way,
thank
you for the gifts that I get over the years. You do not have to get me another charcuterie board. I'm good. I've got like 6 of them.
Although I did see a pretty cool twist on the charcuterie board option or idea. Have you ever heard of a butter board?
No, I guess I haven't.
It's kind of brilliant. What you do is you take different infused butter, not like what you're thinking infused.
Okay.
But like
wheat butter?
Right. But like flavored butters. Like you have like a honey almond butter, you have like a black truffle butter, just different kinds. And then you have just bread.
Golden Corral yeast rolls?
Breads, crackers, things that you can just take a quick dip of that butter, and it's become a huge thing.
I get it.
People are putting out butter boards.
I tell you, it's Golden Corral. It's the best thing is that honey butter and those big old yeast rolls.
Dude, I saw
howdy.
I saw a meme that I can't share with the listening public. It immediately made me think of your whole Golden Corral chocolate fountain theory.
Yeah.
It just said it's just a guy looking like this one. And it's me looking at the child enjoying the chocolate fountain before ...
Yeah, that's me. That is totally me. But
that's why I hate getting those charcuterie boards.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that anymore. Everyone's got one. Everyone that wants one has one.
Yeah. Or if they really want one, they're not that expensive, honestly.
Right. Like my father likes to get those as kind of a lazy gift.
Well,
and it's like that cutting board is going to last you about like 5 years.
Well, I wonder if there is a.
So I don't want to give you like one every year, you know.
Like is there a niche to collect charcuterie boards?
Well,
how people collect shot glasses and spoons and whatnot. Like, is there a market for charcuterie board collections? Like, do they travel like Buc-ee's around the world to collect the? Here, I got the Odessa Buc-ee's charcuterie board.
The thing is, if that's your thing, is you're a collector of that thing, then your thing becomes, I need to get one from every state.
Yeah, like, am I going to go to the Grand Canyon now and there's going to be Grand Canyon charcuterie board?
I have a good friend who's trying to build a magnet United States, and you have to get a shaped magnet from every state that you visit.
Yeah.
And it's shot away, but it's become an obsession.
Well, let me know if anybody's out there, if they have a charcuterie board collection and they collect them.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a stab. These are some of the same people that are collecting state quarters.
You joke, but
my mom was one of them.
I was
when my mom died, we were cleaning out her stuff, and she had one of those maps, and she only had about 10 states filled. Sorry, guys.
I don't know if you follow.
I couldn't retire off of
Captain Jim. Jim.
Yes,
Wooten.
Yes.
He often has those full collections of the state quarters that he gets, from like sheds or storage places. Or whatever, and he puts those up for a good couple $100, and it's a valuable set. If you have all the state quarters, that's got to be worth at least like $850.
Get yourself a value meal. Yeah, I get it.
No, here's the thing though. I also grew up in the ghetto, and I worked at a gas station for long enough to see so many 50-cent pieces, silver dollars, or super shiny quarters with glue on the back.
Yeah.
Turned in because somebody needed cigarettes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I can't tell you how many shattered dreams there are behind like shattered frames.
I gotta be honest.
Commemorative collections.
When I got my Eagle Scout and all that, I was awarded a plaque that the troop always gave as a tradition to every Eagle Scout, And basically, it's just a wooden plaque they hand make, and it's really nice. But you have to earn 20 merit badges, and so they put little silver the Silver Eagle dollars, 20 of them in there as part of the thing.
Nice.
So, and I still have that.
Really?
With the coins in it.
Wow. See, that's impressive.
That's what I'm saying.
Knowing you as long as I have as a former smoker, that's impressive.
I know. Now, in all fairness, there's about 80 pounds of shellac on that thing, and you probably need Fort Knox to get to those bad boys.
Sure.
But I never attempted it.
That's when you really see the lack of effort. Like, if I make this joke a lot, but if it's a real good batch this time, you know that they've taken the time to scrub the glue off the back of the quarters, but half the time it's just, here, it's got some paper on the back. It still spins, right? Yeah, it's...
I got to read that later. I was trying to read it on air and I can't. My brain won't let me. But, right. But, yeah, so I call that a tip feather my own cap.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Tip of the cap as well.
Actually, to be honest, I'm impressed that I own a jar, and it's like one of these like former mayonnaise jars, but it's like
the big pickle jar.
But yeah, it's a huge one. But it's not like the big. It's
right.
It's like a number 10 can size.
A Mount Olive pickle jar from Sam's Club.
Yeah.
Yep.
That size. And it's about 3/4 full of coins.
Nice.
And,
swear jar?
Huh?
Swear jar?
No, just on the off
You want to
chance.
fill that bad boy up, bring it in here.
Well, and it's taken harder over the years where I'm in a less cash currency environment now.
I understand.
But it was just a place I threw change, but I've never gone to Coinstar. I've never done, and so it's literally 10 years.
It is one of the best feelings in the world, cash in day, when you're like, I hit the jackpot, mofo, and you just dump it in, and it's like it's rolling your quarters in.
I will take that
but
back.
Then it kicks out like 2 Canadian pennies and like a slug that you had used in the vending machine one time.
I'll take that back. We did. It was kind of semi-full back when Kim's sister got married. So when was that? When did she get married? Well, they got 2 kids. One's in high school now, so it's probably been almost like 18 years they've been married.
So
it's been about 18 years.
Back at the inception of Coinstar.
Yeah, because they got married in Vegas, and that was one of what we did. We dumped it in, so that's our money to Vegas.
Nice.
And I think it was about $60 in there.
Yeah. It was actually 73, but they had to take their cut,
Right. I mean, it was a time ago. But yeah. So we probably should get the hour going. Our guest is patiently waiting.
And he's got a gun, so I mean, there's patience, but it only lasts for so long.
This is true. This is true. Shoot the other guy. I'm just the messenger.
Oh, okay.
Don't shoot me.
Mornings with Mike Winters and the other guy.
The fall guy.
The fall guy. I like it.
It's different than the stump man.
You knew what you were when you signed on.
Oh, man. We'll get you update with the weather and all that here in just a bit. Spoiler alert, weather's nice this weekend. And then we'll be joined by, from the Chaves County Sheriff's Department, Under Sheriff Charles Islas will join us here, give us an update what's happening out at the Sheriff's Department. And then later on, we'll get you up to date with news of the local variety, Wall Street business update, and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show. But first, your nicer, warmer, it's going to think it's spring-like weather.
Enjoy.
I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore with your Pecos Valley weather. Pretty clear out there for Roswell, Carlsbad, and Artesia. As we're pushing through the early morning time, we're going to see a decrease in that strong wind. Overnight lows are ranging from the mid to upper 20s. Abundant sunshine for any Friday plans you have. Highs are right around 65 degrees. Dry and milder this weekend. Plenty of sunshine Saturday with highs low 70s. We're pushing up to the upper 70s on Sunday with fair weather. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Naramore.
Thank you, Steve. Or actually, it was Jennifer. Sorry about that. Sorry, Jennifer. Currently 32 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 66%. Winds are calm at the moment. Enjoy 64 for a high today under sunny skies. Winds will be out of the south at around 5 miles per hour, so no wind. Just pleasant, mild temps today. Clear tonight. Overnight low of 25, so another chilly night tonight. South winds at around 5 miles per hour. We're going to be pushing 70 for your Saturday. Sunny, 69 officially. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. A little warmer tomorrow night, mostly clear. Overnight low of 35, so we'll be above freezing at least. That's good. Southwest winds 5 to 10. Sunday, 78 for a high under sunny skies with west winds 5 to 10. And then next week, 80s. 80 and sunny on Monday, mostly sunny, and 80 on Tuesday. Wednesday, 82 and sunny. And then 76 drops down in the upper 70s by Thursday of next week. So enjoy it. 60s, 70s, 80s, all that's what we got for the next 7 days. So it's all good stuff. All right, 8:19, we're going to take a quick 3.5-minute break, and then Charles Isis, Undersheriff, will join us on the other side from the Chaves County Sheriff's Department. Don't go away.
Time to trade in and trade up in 2025 with Roswell Honda. With a fresh new lineup of vehicles and great rates that mean you can trade up and save. Like a new 2025 Honda Civic Hybrid, just 4.9% for 48 months, 2.9% for 36 months on new Pilot and Ridgeline, and 2.9% for up to 60 months on new 2025 Honda Accord. So hurry in before the savings pass you by. Trade in, trade up, and save at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Injury, surgery, or illness can set you back, but you don't have to recover alone. At Artesia General Hospital, our rehabilitation services team provides physical, occupational, and speech therapy to help you regain strength, mobility, and confidence. Take the next step toward recovery. Call 575-736-8174 today to schedule an appointment and get back to living life to the fullest.
You have a life, places to go, things to do, people to see, but it's hard to enjoy life when you have pain. You don't have to live that way. Softwave therapy from Premier Chiropractic in Roswell can help you. Softwave's cutting-edge technology is non-invasive and can help your body heal. This new technology uses therapeutic energy waves to activate the body's dormant stem cells to promote natural healing. Sessions are quick with short treatment times. Start healing today. Call Premier Chiropractic at 623-2900 or visit healthyroswell.com.
Are you ready to succeed? The School of Arts and Sciences at ENMU Roswell covers a broad curriculum. The certificates and degrees offered within these programs will prepare students to realize personal, professional, and occupational objectives, from ag science and agricultural technology to behavioral science, biology, bookkeeping and accounting, business administration, criminal justice, education, and mathematics. ENMU Roswell can set you up for success. Register now on campus or online at roswell.enmu.edu. Eastern New Mexico University Roswell. Success starts here.
When you stick with Block, everyone's a winner. Weekly prizes and giveaways like a Samsung 65-inch 4K Smart TV to be giving away on February 21st. Your Roswell, New Mexico H&R Block wants to help those affected by the recent flooding that affected our beautiful city. We are offering a discount to any tax filers claiming a casualty loss deduction this season. Please give us a call at 575-622-5455 or stop by our new location at 701 South Main. H&R Block has got you covered.
Picture this. You're behind the wheel of a John Deere compact tractor. You're effortlessly breaking ground, moving piles of rocks just by moving a lever, and enjoying the sun as you clear brush across your pasture. We could keep trying to put you in the moment, but to really understand what this feels like, you just have to get in the seat.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia and Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
Time to drive into 2025 with Roswell Hyundai. The lot is loaded with an amazing selection of new and pre-owned vehicles with special financing that means you can lock in low and save. Like 3.99% for up to 60 months on all new Hyundai Sonata, Palisade, or Elantra. 2.99% for up to 60 months on all new Hyundai Santa Cruz. Or lock in low with 2.49% for up to 60 months on all new Hyundai Tucson and Santa Fe. Drive in, trade up, and lock in low. Drive into 2025 with Roswell Hyundai. 1909 West 2nd.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Astronauts are not allowed to eat beans before they go into space because passing wind in a spacesuit damages them. The suits or the astronauts. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 23 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, Undersheriff for the Chaves County Sheriff's Department, Charles Eastless, back with us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you all?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
That's the first time in 2025 I've talked to you here on the radio.
It has. It's been a busy month already.
So what's been like? I mean, I know because we just been like, it just seems like everything's from one to the other. It floods 1 minute and this and that, and it's like, has there hit like a plateau of normalcy yet, where it's just regular garden variety, day-to-day sheriff's department business?
I don't know that we ever have a normal day or a normalcy day. About the time we catch our breath, we have something else, whether it's Mother Nature or, some type of catastrophic event.
Right.
And not just in Chaves County, but around the globe.
Sure.
We just had we just saw that horrific accident the other day. Prayers for all those folks that
absolutely
in that plane crash, and helicopter collision.
It's so weird because I grew up in that area and all that, and so one of the stories that's kind of going out with that, I don't mean to crowbar, but it hit me and I didn't know what was going on with it till this morning. I grew up in Maryland, Southern Maryland. That's where I was kind of born and raised, and this is Reagan National's right in D.C. and it's about 20 miles from where I grew up, right there. But I was seeing like one of these heart memes with a bunch of people on it.
Yes.
And it was going around a bunch of my friends from back home in that area. And I was like, what is going on about this? And I was kind of thinking it was related to that plane crash. So basically, there was a group of hunters, all from Southern Maryland there, and they all came back from this hunting trip. All of them perished in that. And so, because at first I'm looking at the picture, and I ain't going to lie, I was like, did the cast Duck Dynasty die? Like all of them at once? Because they all kind of were in camo and hunting gear and all that. Right. And then I realized what it was, and it was a bunch of guys from basically my hometown that were on that plane.
Kind of hits home, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. So you're right. That tragedies, that kind of stuff, and you always and we kind of had our own version of that here this last year with maybe not as
catastrophic.
Well, or as sudden. Like a flood and things, you're like, all right, we got a little bit of warning in here. That a plane crash is a plane crash. You're sitting there eating pancakes 1 minute, and next you're out and doing your thing. So,
and one of the sad things, there's a lot of sad things about it, but you see all those youngsters that were on there that
the figure skaters.
They had a lot of life ahead of them,
mm-hmm.
and you think to yourself, how can these things? How do these folks go on?
Right.
And so. Again, they're in our prayers and in our thoughts, and something like that doesn't just affect the local area; it affects the United States. It affects the globe.
Just was curious. I know this is kind of getting philosophical, but from the law enforcement brain, like when you see these kinds of events on the news, we as civilians, you look a certain way in this.
Sure.
I'm curious. I imagine you look at it from a different brain because everything's logistics to you guys. It's like, how do we get from point A to point B? I mean, does your brain try to solve it yourself? Like you look at it, okay, I need to get a hold of da-da-da and do that. Exactly. I mean, is that how you're working when you see these kind of things? Or do you look different? Like, man, there's some guys that are going to be sitting in some freezing. You're seeing it from the first responders perspective.
From the logistics side.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you say that because when I first learned about it, I was at the sheriff's office, and we were in my office, and one of the I'm thinking, my gosh, and so I start pulling up the information, and by then they had pictures, a few pictures out, but I mentioned to my criminal investigations lieutenant and my a couple other lieutenants, admin lieutenant, I said, can you imagine the logistics that are going to be involved in a catastrophic event like that? I mean, my gosh, you've got family that are going to be coming in. You have
absolutely.
You have they're trying to recover bodies,
and because of where it took place.
Yes.
And for folks that don't know, back east, it's a little different in that like out here, you could drive 3 hours and still be in New Mexico. What I mean by that, where that plane crashed in the Potomac River. You've got Maryland, you've got D.C., you've got Virginia right there, and the feds.
Very populated area.
And the feds.
Yes.
So, and all four entities were sending chiefs to cover this thing. And so that's another wrinkle of who's in charge.
Who's going to call the shots?
Yeah.
Who's going to make sure this gets done?
And my head, we all watch movies like Die Hard where the feds move in. They, we think it's that way.
Over
Yeah. I don't think it happens that way in real life.
It doesn't.
But I imagine at the same time they're still all right. Who's running this operation here? Or how many? Am I getting orders from six different people? What's going on?
And that's where you see a couple of different attitudes. You see the egotistical attitude where I'm going to run this, or this is going to be run this way or this way.
Sure.
But realistically, you have to. Every bit of the logistics are important, all the way down to recovering items.
Sure.
Whether you're on that detail or whether you're on the family notification detail
Sure.
or you're on the no matter what type of decision-making detail you're on,
Sure.
every bit of it is a puzzle piece. And it's just like the sheriff's office. Anytime something happens, I don't know if you've noticed, but when I post something, I like to give props to the deputy that did it or whatever happened, because the realization is that patrol is the meat and potatoes of an entity, and then you have your specialized divisions like criminal investigations, who have a puzzle piece. The admin has a puzzle piece. K-9 has a puzzle piece. All these puzzle pieces, but without all those pieces fitting together, you don't have a complete picture.
Gotcha.
And the complete picture is success, and the success is in the form of serving the community and making sure that we solve crimes, prevention, all these things. So back to one of those incidents, I could only imagine, to that magnitude, how many behind the scenes arguments there may be, or
and because there's so many different levels, because because it's an air crash.
NTSB.
Yeah, so you got the whole air side.
Yes.
It happened in the river, which means now you get the Navy and those sides involved. And then just the garden variety people and land and every
law enforcement.
Yeah, so this has the perfect storm of everybody gets involved because it's the land, sea, and air of tragedies here.
It goes back to that battle of the badges.
But so I imagine it, depending on what part of the operation we're talking about, like when they're trying to pull stuff out of the water, you're probably getting your salvage, your Navy,
Absolutely.
people that are
Your
more in
divers.
that. Yeah. Whereas the stuff on land, whatever debris or whatever things they're dealing with there,
I could only imagine.
Yeah, that's probably, and now the fact that it's a Black Hawk helicopter there, I'm sure
the military
have their people in there doing their thing.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to take a stab. They're not going to be as sharing of information with the other law enforcement agents.
As transparent as the others.
Just going to take a hunch that what they're investigating, they ain't going to be sharing with FBI or anybody. Yeah.
What helicopter?
Yeah, they're talking to Grumman or whoever's out there.
That's
they're
it.
talking to their training.
It kind of goes back to that naked gun. Nothing to see here, folks.
Yeah,
nothing to see, and everything's blowing up behind him. Nothing to see.
It's
Carry on.
the black powder factory going up behind him.
Yeah, everything's blowing
fireworks
up.
and nothing to see.
Nothing to see. Carry on.
Yeah.
But it's last year, unfortunately, this year seems to be starting out at that pace. Last year was unbelievable.
Sure.
Like I said, here locally, by the time we had time to catch our breath, we were off to the races with something else.
I would imagine too, though, where the positive that comes through all this is
the working together.
And at the end of the day, I think you're going to have a better sheriff's department.
Absolutely.
Especially the deputies that maybe this was their first year.
Yes.
And
fresh out of the academy.
They learned a lot in this first year, and that's going to make them better deputies this year and next year and the year after that.
Absolutely.
And so you got to look at it, and sometimes that way is it's what doesn't kill you makes you stronger mindset. Right. It is really sometimes iron sharpens iron, and really. Right. Events like this test the mettle of our first responders, and when they come out on the other side, they're going to be better first responders.
Wide-eyed, but they're going to be better.
And so that's if you want to put a blessing on some of this, that's part of that. If there is,
I tell people all the time, and my father was an educator before he retired for the school district, and he was an administrator. He was a principal, and he's always after me to finish my degree, and I'm working on that, but. What I tell people is you can't buy experience. And that is and not that you're just buying a degree, but the reality is we can sit here and what if everything, but when something actually happens, that's when you get the invaluable training.
And I think at the beginning, like in the conceptual of all of it, like the training gets you to the point where you can start experiencing.
Yes.
Where it's like for law enforcement, yes, you go to the academy and they're going to teach you the rights and wrongs. But the feels, that side of the job that when things don't smell right, feel right, tingles, all that, that there's only one place you learn that, and that's doing the job. It's no different, and that's in any profession.
That's right.
Whether you're a lawyer in a courtroom or a chef in a kitchen,
that's right,
or whatever that is, you know, it's
everyone has that gut feeling and that sixth sense, if you want to call it.
Something that you just what makes you what you do at that thing, and so. You're absolutely right. And please, don't, like you said, the training is important, but and so yes, get that. But you need it in concert because it's just like there's a reason why a police officer graduates from police academy. They don't say, "Here's the keys, here's a car, good luck to you." There's a reason they don't do
when
that.
Your training just begins.
Exactly. It's now you know the rules.
Yes.
Let's show you how to be a cop.
Yes.
That's kind of what it is. In my head, and maybe I'm wrong.
No, you're 100%.
Police Academy showing you how to be a cop.
They give you the foundation,
or show you the rules, show you what the game basically. Right. And once you're a cop, now you learn how to play the game.
That's right. Well, this is my 26th year doing this job, and I tell people the Police Academy builds the foundation. Mm-hmm. Without them, there wouldn't be a solid structure to be on.
Right.
And then when you get out, throughout your career, you're building walls. You're building walls, and you're building rooms. Mm-hmm. And your goal is to build this successful building, and that is your career.
Right.
That is your. And you want that. The more we've all heard, the more keys you have on your key ring, the more doors it opens. Well, that's the realization, and
sure.
That's what you want.
Well,
and to be a well-rounded, this is just like anything else. They're not just police officers or deputies. They're counselors. They're mediators. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they're referees.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
they're pals. They're
exactly.
friends. They're
sometimes they're the bad
protectors.
guy.
Sometimes they're the bully if they have to be. Yeah.
They're given. In this business, this is why I hold this business dear to my heart. There is no other profession, in my opinion, like it in the world. This is a business where you're entrusted to serve the public, and you're going into this knowing that not everybody's going to be happy. Whenever you have two people arguing, there's not going to be a winner.
You're catching everybody at their worst,
But you just try to do the best you can and mediate, and you're given. You have to remember who you are and where you came from. It's important to stay grounded.
Sure.
Be available to the public. Visit with the public. I run into people at Walmart, and a trip to Walmart may take me 2 hours if I'm getting one thing. But I enjoy it. I love it. I love visiting, and that's what it's about.
But and this is where this policing, and this is where, since Sheriff Mike Harrington, yourself, Ever since you guys have been kind of in charge at the department here, and I know before too.
Sure.
It's always been that the most important aspect of our job is that relationship with the community. You can only police a community if you're working in concert with the community.
That's right.
You cannot. Because you can't solve cases, you can't do anything without the support of the community.
That's exactly it.
And I've seen it firsthand, where you personally have come up on a call or something, and in a situation where people are a little tense and everything, and you just kind of come in, and I'll tell you this right now, like you have people that like know you, and that was one of those situations. They were being unruly. You walk up and because you have that rapport with them and understanding, and they look to you as an asset, not a liability.
That's it.
You can make headway where other people can't, and that's the part of policing you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Is that area where because you've seen them at their worst, you've done them good in previous encounters and done them
yourself.
That cements that, and
right.
when the next thing happens, and unfortunately with these types of individuals, that's pretty common.
Yes.
It hopefully is a less. Everyone walks away from it. No one gets hurt, and everyone comes in. And so that's the goal. Is sometimes you're not even solving this case. You're preventing the next one.
That's exactly it. And without that relationship, there is no prevention, and there is no success. And it's important to be available. It's important to just talk to people and answer their questions.
Sure.
Be available for the questions. It's important to have the boots on the ground. One of the things that I think is critical is when I look at demographics, for example, or different functions, I'm very fortunate because everyone knows I'm a car guy, a motorcycle guy, so one weekend you may see me at a car show with an oldie car. The next weekend you may see me at a motorcycle rally. Next weekend you may see me down at the courthouse. The next weekend you might see me in a suit and tie at a function for Leadership New Mexico, I'm alumni of. So it's different things, but the reality is
sometimes you got your veteran hat on doing veteran stuff.
Well, I'm not a veteran, but I do help them, and so I'm a member of the Sons of the Veterans.
Sure, there you go.
And so
that's what I meant.
So absolutely, so it's one of those things where you have to be yourself.
Sure.
You cannot put on this charade, and people aren't.
People see through that.
They do. They do, and it's an insult to do them that way.
Sure.
Real quick, one of the things talking about,
and this is kind of where I was going to segue here is with community policing and being a part of that community. You guys, the Sheriff's Department's been really working on creating some new programs, some new opportunities.
I'm very happy and very proud of that.
Kind of get the community involved, but even a chance to where you get to see what sheriffs. Yes. What law enforcement's like? What is the job like? What it's about? Right. So talk a little bit about what you guys are cooking up here.
One of the things that I'm very, very proud of and very happy with is I have been working on for the past several years a police. Basically, it's a citizens academy.
Gotcha.
Very similar to a police explorer program, but for grown-ups.
Gotcha.
So
now you and I are around the same age.
Yes. Don't give them the age. Just
around the same age. But I will say this.
Same age, that's right.
You were aware of this movie as much as I'm aware of this movie.
Probably.
How much of this is going to be like Police Academy?
Citizens on Patrol.
Citizens on Patrol. Was that 3? Was that 3, I think?
I think that was part 3. Yes. I think that, yeah.
All right. Make that as our comparison. How much like it or not like it is that?
We want to avoid the high points of that movie.
You're not going to be running around
fun like that.
breaking up gangs and things like that.
We're not going to drop you off in the middle of a riot.
Right.
Let's put it that way and expect you to do, at the same time, you're not going to be sitting in a donut shop with a car blowing up behind you. And, so it's I anticipate it to be a real eye-opening experience.
Gotcha.
But my goal is to inform the public what we do behind those doors.
Sure.
And why it takes sometimes a little longer for a criminal investigation, or why we can't just take a hair and put it in this magic box and it tells us by the end of the episode who the bad guy is.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem is you're fighting TV because everyone thinks,
exactly.
Look, I saw Sipowicz solve this sucker in 55 minutes, man. What's up?
Exactly. So there's going to be, it'll be 8. I created it to be 8 sessions or 8 classes. There'll be approximately 3 hours apiece.
Gotcha.
And it will. My plan is right now, if everything stays on point, is to launch it on May the 3rd.
Okay.
So there will be an application
Sure, want to
process.
push a day and get the Star Wars kids involved?
There you go. May the 4th be with you. That's right. That's right. Well, I would, they'll start showing up with their lightsabers and all.
Well, you don't want to impose on their day.
Right. I got to give them that.
Cops on the 3rd, Star Wars on the 4th.
That's right. And I'm a Star Wars fan. I when they started coming out with all these other ones, I was lost.
Yeah.
I always have to go back to the original Star Wars.
Yeah, Disney Plus got me
Empire Strikes
confused.
Back.
There's like 60 different spin-offs. I'm like,
yeah, and then they go back. The next spin-off may be, it came out after, 20, 30 years after, but it's supposed to be before.
This one's between Empire Strikes Back and The Return, but before this, and you're like, whoa.
Return of the Jedi 3.4.
Exactly, yeah, I'm not that nerd, but yes, I think you and I are same level there. It's
yes,
like,
absolutely.
We love Yoda as much as the next guy, but we're not that in the weeds.
I can live without it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, but each session will be, there'll be a session on fingerprinting,
Gotcha.
and the public, the.
I imagine that technology changed in most. Like, because I remember as kids, because you and I are the kids' age where they started like doing fingerprinting for, kidnappings and to get your kids, and it's the ink pads and all that stuff. Now I'm sure that's still available and maybe used on occasion,
Right.
But I feel like with the computer age, it's
unbelievable.
Like I don't think people have to clean all the black stuff off their fingers anymore.
Who would have thought that you could get a fingerprint off of a body?
Yeah, I would imagine you could probably.
And that's been
lift
for several years now.
They can lift it off pretty much.
It wasn't when you and I were police explorers.
All I could think of is those guys around throwing dust on everything, trying to go, oh, look, on the glass, there's a part of our print. You know?
Well, all I remember are the motorcycles.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm a motorcycle guy. The motorcycles, Chips, Ponch and John.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's where TV took over for us as well. Andy Griffith, SWAT, all those shows from back in the 80s,
right,
70s, without giving away our age
very long ago.
Born in the 70s, raised in the 80s.
I think they could kind of figure it out.
90s.
I think we kind of outed our ages based on this conversation.
Yeah. We're 50 plus.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right.
We're 50 and some change.
That's
How's
right.
that?
AARP is reaching out to us.
They're knocking on our door. We're just not going to answer. But that's one of the programs that I have coming up. I have a couple others, and that's what I.
And knowledge is power when it's stuff. And this is so you get to really see. And it gives because when at the end of the day we talk about the relationship between the community and the police and how all of this has to mesh to work for this thing to work.
Yes.
And the thing that you need to realize and how that is achieved is by understanding everybody's perspective.
That's right.
Now, as law enforcement folks, they're human beings. I'm going to say, imagine almost every sheriff's deputy can relate to a situation when they're out on a call and somebody's having they've had something in their own personal lives, maybe similar, if not spot on what's going on at that particular moment. However, the other side is the community sees what's going on there. They don't understand necessarily what a police officer sometimes can and cannot do, what's bound and what they're legally allowed to do.
And what's civil.
Yeah, and so where is that line where they can go? And so these kinds of programs really allow you to understand that. You say, okay, so and to be honest, the next time you get pulled over or something, you're going to notice things. You're going to be like,
you're going to understand why.
That's why they do it that
exactly.
way.
Yeah. And one of the key things is we have a simulator, and something that we're very proud of, and we obtained about a year and a half ago, and we put the deputies through it.
I've seen online some little small windows of some of the deputies going through it, and and every one of them have said it'll
very realistic.
It'll put a beat of sweat on you.
Yes, it will.
Yeah.
And so there'll be a couple of sessions where the Citizens Academy goes through that.
Gotcha.
And we'll put them in not necessarily no-win situations, but in decision-making situations.
But it's the best way to get you to see exactly the mindset of an officer without the possibility of actually you getting killed.
Yes. The decision that has to be made in 5 seconds or less, and then is torn apart over the next 2 to 3 years where we're in a controlled environment.
But that's what makes you think. And this is really, for the officers, this is the stuff they weigh when those moments happen. When it's,
it's a split second.
I'm pulling out the gun, what's going to happen next? And that in those training scenarios that they've done hundreds and thousands of times in very different ways, that's how they come to these decisions. Unfortunately, when you get in a situation like if there's an armed suspect with a hostage and all that, there's not a lot of positive end outcomes.
What you see on the movies isn't accurate.
Put it this way: you're behind the 8 ball on any. So any win where everyone walks away is a win.
And that's the goal. The goal is the reason why we believe in community policing and prevention is because if we stay reactive, we're always going to be behind the curve.
Absolutely.
We have to wait until the action, and then we have that reaction. It falls under SIPDE: scan, identify, predict, decide, and execute the action. Well, realistically, you want to obtain and be able to do those things within three seconds.
Sure.
And you think, okay, how do I do all that? Well, realistically, it's through situational awareness.
Gotcha.
Scan, identify, predict. That's called situational awareness.
Absolutely.
Looking around, paying attention. And I'm guilty of it, just like the next person, of getting tunnel vision and someone come up, hey, what's going on? Oh, scared me to death.
And I've explained this, this was my experience when I did the ride-along a couple years ago. This was that's the moment where I realized, this is why I'm not a deputy versus other. Because I was literally, there was we were down on the south end and we're going down through the alleys there, and the deputy he's driving, I'm sitting in the passenger seat, and we're going down the aisle, and he's going to check in on, there was a homeless man that was kind of leaning up against a fence, just doing a welfare check, saying, hey, you need some water, you okay? Just kind of, doing his thing there. And as we drive down the alley, and the guy sitting there, the cop tells me, he goes, stay in the car. He says, 2 more over there. There's 1 back here. And I was like, what now?
In the dark.
Yeah. And he spotted out for me. And sure enough, when he came out and talked to him, 6 more dudes come out and start walking. And now, cop, again, because of the relationships, knew everybody, everything's kosher. Yeah. But I missed all of that. I was just sitting there going,
enjoying the ride.
Big poop-eating grin just sitting there.
Well, and if you ever watch officers talk to each other, it looks like they're doing a dance because they're constantly rotating their body, and it's training. They're doing it unconsciously, but they're constantly blading their body and just talking in a circle.
Sure.
And it's kind of funny to watch sometimes.
Interesting.
It's human nature.
It's them.
It's this business.
Observing and assessing what's going on at that particular moment. So.
But you have to find that happy medium where not everybody is a criminal, not everybody's a suspect. You can't live as a robot. You have to have that situational awareness, but be yourself.
Exactly. That's the rub for being a police officer. When do you turn that off? Like when do you you're at a day at the park?
You have to
find
what I mean? That happy medium.
And this is the struggle with keeping law enforcement. Some individuals have trouble dealing with some of that stuff, and that's why And by the way, if you're looking for a career in law enforcement, Sheriff's Department's always hiring and taking applications.
We have 4 positions available,
Excellent.
And we plan on filling those pretty quick.
But be warned, this is not for everyone. This is a career field. If you love to serve, if you've got the server's heart. If you have the ability to be calm when things aren't calm, that is a very valuable trait in
we
skill
tell people
set.
If you don't like being off for the holidays, if you don't like having a normal sleep pattern, if you like being woke up in the middle of the night because the phone's ringing, this is the job for you. But it's also a rewarding job.
But exactly, it's the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. It's kind of like it's not. There ain't middle ground in anything here. It's like it's 0 and then it's 100, and then it's back to 0 again. Rarely is it 30.
That's exactly right. And realistically, 99% of the time, it's 0.
Right.
It's that 1% to 100 that'll give you the.
Well, it has to happen once to be enough. You know what I mean?
That's exactly right.
You work a 12-hour shift. If I'm doing 0, 0, 0 for 11 of those hours, but 100 for 1,
Murphy's Law.
That's enough.
Yeah, Murphy's Law. It's going to happen 15 minutes before you get off.
Absolutely.
And it's your it's your daughter's birthday. On my daughter's 16th birthday, I was serving a warrant on an escapee, and so those are the types of things that you can never go back, but you try and make up.
Sure.
And you can't ever make them up. But the realization is it's something that is always there in your mind.
Absolutely.
Always.
Absolutely.
And
it's the job that
it's the highs and lows.
And this is the law enforcement job is even when you take the uniform off at the end of the day, you're still a law enforcement. It's a lifestyle.
Yes.
It is. This is a career. This is a lifestyle. It's as much as anything.
That's right. And this message goes out to the law enforcement community. There is nothing wrong with talking to people. We see this all the time. We are type A personalities. We are, when we show up on scene, we're the boss. And it has to be that way because we have to mitigate and decide and figure out what's going on and then solve it for that situation.
Yep.
So, all this is compartmentalized. It's internalized. And throughout years and throughout time, you can't just put it in the box and close the door in the back of your mind. That box is eventually going to spill over. So it's important. It doesn't show, and again, this goes out to my law enforcement community and everything. It doesn't show weakness talking to somebody, visiting with somebody, whatever the case may be.
Right.
Unfortunately, what we see oftentimes is people will, and not just in this job, but in a stressful job, will turn to alcohol. They'll turn to a substance or something that will make them forget
a Band-Aid,
about it. But remember, it's still there. It's just going to make you forget about it till tomorrow.
And I know because I understand the a little bit, just from my life in the military and stuff. I understand what makes people good at what to do these things. also makes them bad at other aspects of
That's right.
life. It's just, it's no different in like an artist.
You are
what
no
makes
good to the public if you don't take care of yourself.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I
it.
look at. It's like, look, before you got on a shift, I bet you make sure your gun is clean, serviceable, and if you need to pull it out and work, it's going to work
better.
Or you're going to make sure that your pepper spray is full, and when you need to pull it out, it ain't empty.
Right.
You're going to make sure that you have 100 pairs of gloves in your vehicle at all times. So when you got to put on 57 gloves, and of course you've got them.
Sure.
Do the same thing for your brain. Do the same thing
That's
for your
exactly
mental
right.
health. You got to, if you are out there trying to make people's lives better, how the hell are you supposed to do that if you got a soup sandwich going on up
Exactly.
there yourself?
You have to have clarity, and you have to be able to make those decisions without something weighing on the back of your mind
Yep.
or in your mind, and that's what's going to get you hurt.
Yep.
And it's it's unfortunate, but we're all humans.
Yep.
And humans, I tell people, and I've learned to practice what I preach more than now that I'm getting older.
And
we're like a cell phone.
But we
You have
talked
to
at the beginning
recharge.
with experience.
Yes.
Experience changes you.
It does.
And it can change you for the worse depending on what that experience is.
Yes.
And in law enforcement, it is very easy to get jaded, to get negative. When you're dealing with nothing but negative all day, when you go home at the end of the day, it's hard to see the positive in things when all you've been
punches
doing is the worst of everything.
Keep rolling throughout the day, and exactly. And you want to
so
find
you
a
have to be
place
careful of
relax.
that. Yeah.
Exactly. And so it's important to it's very important to communicate. It's very important to communicate with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of programs out there. Bless the Badge. One of our sergeants is a big supporter in that, and I think they're going to be going to Florida here towards the 1st of February. But these programs are out there for a reason,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't show weakness. It doesn't show. It shows that you care about yourself as well.
To
as
me, it's part of the training.
It is.
Like to me, this should be incorporated
Yes.
in your training, just like your range time is to make sure you're
Yes.
proficient at shooting, or your whatever tests and certifications you got to
That's
re-up
right.
for every so many years or whatever. It's no different than that.
And for years, we were treated or expected to be like a robot, Judge Dredd, or whatever the case may. I find you guilty,
Sure.
whatever the case may be.
No emotion,
And
no matter what. Yeah.
Exactly. But now, even the academy and legislators and people, people have always looked at it, and now they've implemented, the mental health well-being of law enforcement, the emotional health well-being, and so it's learning to take care of yourself. And like I said before, I had to start practicing what I preach, both through physical fitness, through losing
Sure.
some weight, and
and
getting
I'm
back to a healthier.
Like us, you and I are both the same age,
Yes.
and so what you were taught when you were in the police academy versus what they're teaching at the police academy now is probably night and day different.
It is.
And because we've evolved.
It is.
It's the same thing with doctors. You think what doctors learned in medical school 20 years ago is the same
That's
kind of
right.
stuff they're learning right now? I
Yeah.
guarantee it's not.
Nope.
And it's
You
no
have to
different in
evolve
any
with the
other.
times.
Exactly.
It's-
Look at your kid's classroom. Remember what it looked like when you were a
Yes.
kid? Look what it looks like now. It looks nothing the same.
Well, and
this is what we're talking about.
Yeah, and it goes back to grandparents too.
Mhm.
I laugh at it because I would often tell my kids, that's not the same person that I grew up with.
Right.
That person washed my mouth out with soap.
Right.
And
Now
so
they just
I have
now they're-
PTSD with the Dove soap bar now because of
Now
Mom,
you
but,
could punch him in the face, he'd still laugh it off.
Oh, that's okay. You know what? We need to get this kid some boxing
That's
gloves.
right.
Let's go buy you, a little boxing outfit.
Yep.
And it's, but it's.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for this year. I'm really excited for the upcoming programs. That's just one of the programs. I'm trying to put together a schedule. Again, if you didn't see it, we were out leveling headstones and things like that. So
Out of memory lawn, yeah.
Yes, so I'm going to be in contact with Lee again,
Okay.
and we're going to get that, kicked off to at least one Saturday a month.
Excellent.
I think is good. And
Always looking for volunteers want to
yes.
come out, and love to bring families when we
Yes.
do those things,
You know,
because
and they're-
it's a history lesson as much as it is
Absolutely.
a service.
For us, we spent a third of our time reading how old some of those headstones. And I have friends and family out there, and I never knew that there were some back in the middle 1800s.
Oh yeah.
It's and then you start Googling. And
It's in the big scope. You're like, I'm looking at graves, and it's a little morbid,
Right.
but the other side is
There's
like
history to that.
It's so much history and
Yes.
so much, and at the
Yes.
end of the day, that's why it's here.
That's right.
To remember those that have been forgotten,
Yes.
and it's a reminder of that.
Yes, and And we have more history here in Chaves County than people believe.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Pat Garrett ran for sheriff in the first election here in Chaves County and lost.
Well, and guess
know,
what? During the Lincoln County War, this was Lincoln County.
This was Lincoln County.
Yeah. After is when
it was annexed to Chaves County.
Yeah, when they broke it up into Chaves.
February 5th.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
1889.
So you know, when you watch them Young Gun movies and all that, guess what? That's your backyard.
We were the territory.
That's right. Guys like Chisholm, when they're going, that's out this way, Roswell area.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
and it's really neat. If you're driving back just from Ruidoso, look at the markers on the side of the road. If you've never stopped, take a minute, stop and read them.
Yeah.
And a lot of us are always, I want to go to Florida. I want to go to California.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of history here that
Absolutely.
I've never even had the opportunity to look at.
The one that it kind of hit me. Oh man, we have time. I don't have to do it. Dang it! I just saw it's 9 o'clock. So we got. I'll tell you off air here, but we got to go here. But
not a problem.
Please reach out. Give out the website for if you're interested in applying or anything more about Sheriff's
Just
Department.
go to the Chaves County website. You click on applications. We're always advertising. Again, we have 4 positions available now. We plan on filling those in the very near future. If you're interested in this job, come out, sign up for a ride-along. We'd be happy to have you. Do a simple background, make sure that you're not wanted or anything, and put you in a car and let you see kind of what we deal with on a day-to-day basis.
I highly recommend, if you're interested in a career, sign up for a ride-along. It'll be an eye-opening experience. As one who's done it personally, you will learn a lot about your city that way.
Yes, absolutely. And real quick, I told you before on Saturdays, try to plan something for Saturdays. Next Saturday, we're going to be going out and dropping off boxes. One box is equal to 1 week of food for one individual. And they were dispersed during the floods, and they gave us a huge amount. Gave me a huge amount.
Okay.
And so I have a lot of those, and I'm not going to let them just sit there and rot and go to waste. So the deputies are going to have them in their cars.
Okay.
I'll have them in my truck. We're going to be going out, and anywhere we see homeless, walking, doing anything, we're going to stop and give them a box.
Excellent.
And I have plenty. I bet I've got 60 boxes.
Okay.
So if you know anywhere that they're living under bridge or whatever, shoot me a text, shoot me an email, charles.eastless@chaviscounty.com, and or chaviscounty.gov. I apologize. And let us know. Yep,
excellent. Yeah, it's called Sheriff's Department. Yeah, it's all go. Excellent. Love that. So hopefully. Well, thank you guys. Tell every deputy. God bless them. We appreciate everything they do, and we'll see you guys next time. And stay safe, stay
warm,
and stay cool this weekend. Now we got 70s and 80s. Stay cool.
70s and 80s this weekend. Can you imagine what July? We talked about it. Can you imagine what July is going to be?
Yeah. Well, I imagine with the weather being nice this weekend, might be a little bit more frivolous out there in the streets.
You may see some cars out, motorcycles out. You might see some people enjoying it.
Sun's out, guns out kind of thing.
That's right.
Thank you, sir, as always. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
9:01, you're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, or Roswell, New Mexico. News in progress.
Dakota governor to oversee a boost in fossil fuel production and a return to American energy independence. Watching Wall Street, stocks are higher this morning. The Dow is up 9 points, the NASDAQ ahead 279, and the S&P 46 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit. 800-885-3333. That's 800-885-3333. 800-885-3333.
Syria's new leader addresses the nation.
In his pre-recorded TV address, Ahmed al-Sharaa said he spoke to Syrians not as a ruler, but as a servant of our wounded homeland. He paid tribute to those killed by the former regime of Bashar al-Assad, the tortured and the missing, grieving mothers and families. And he said he would pursue what he called the criminals at home or abroad who had committed massacres and crimes. Mr. al-Sharaa promised a diverse transitional government, a transitional legislature, and a national dialogue conference. He said those bodies would operate until what he called free and fair elections.
The BBC's Charles Haviland. Japanese police have arrested a Canadian national on suspicion of smuggling hundreds of kilograms of methamphetamine into Japan, hidden inside large industrial machinery that he had shipped in in a container from the U.S. The haul, reportedly the largest amount seized by the Tokyo police last year. Townhall.com. A New York food bank lands tons of top-grade salmon, but there's a catch.
The food bank of Central New York was offered more than 40,000 pounds of salmon, but the fish were still in the water at local Coho, an indoor fish farm that was shutting down. So volunteers had to go in with nets and catch about 13,000 salmon, says farm manager Adam Kramarzik.
It's a lot of fish to do something with, right? We didn't want it to go to waste, go into a dumpster or something like that.
The salmon goes to 243 food pantries and other institutions in the food bank's network. Julie Walker, New York.
Arizona's Governor Katie Hobbs renewing a drive to regulate a precious resource, groundwater, in rural parts of the state. The goal is to control the pumping of groundwater, long practiced by farmers and rural residents without any restrictions. Hobbs is threatening to act on her own if the state legislature can't reach a compromise this session. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Why do I taste pennies?
Mornings with Mike. I gotta do the Tracy and Beer.
Yeah, Tracy and Beer.
Sorry, we gotta do official. Add filler, but you gotta.
I'd be all official.
It's like the legal ID. You can add filler, but you gotta get the name, the who, what, where, when.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Of Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
There you go. Ding.
Go ahead.
Happy Friday, everybody.
I'm Harpo over here. My job is to ring the bell and, honk the horn.
Oh, no. You got to thinking about toast.
What I was going to say was, one of my favorite things in the world is just the random assortment of things that people say, right, when they're like, why do I blank?
Right.
Stroke questions, and I know it's a real, offensive topic, but stroke questions are one of the funniest things in the world. It's like, why do I taste nickels? Why do I smell my childhood?
Well, Well, it was funny because right after I was talking with Charles, we had that moment, right, because right after I was going to tell him something, then we ran out of time around there, and he goes, so what were you going to tell me? I was like, what was I going to tell you? And it took a full minute of him and I going back and talking it through before we both figured out what I was going to tell him.
Sometimes you just got to turn around and just start turning cards back over to figure out the topic where you started.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, we were talking about campaign finance reform? How? Somehow now we're talking about mutilating farm animals.
But now in my head after this happens, I've got the half-baked moment where instead of, Warning. I'm kind of like, warning, old people affects the memory.
Age affects the memory.
Right.
It really, really does.
Man, need to get that Prevacid or whatever.
What's really exciting, though, is when you walk out the door, you're like, okay, phone, wallet, keys. Okay, that. And wouldn't you know what, I forgot pants?
Well, and you know what? And this is where I'm starting to have...
That's fair.
Hey.
It got what it got. All right, move on.
Well, see, my problem with that is half those things would have been in the pants.
Well, I'm wearing a hoodie in this scenario.
Well, you speak of that.
Mm-hmm.
And since we're in the winter months, I have coats, therefore more pockets, therefore more place to put things.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I bring more things to put. I'm almost of the opinion, like, the more pockets I get, I'm just going to by default bring more crap that I don't need.
You're just looking for stuff to put in those pockets.
I think this is the wife purse thing all over again. Like they think they need the big purse because they think they need all this, but they really don't.
Here's what's funny is I think you might have just found Buddhism. I think you might have just found self-enlightenment. Is the more pockets that we have, the more things we'll find to put in those pockets.
You know what? You're right.
This is Mike's self-enlightenment.
This is deep show, man.
There it is.
I need to be shirtless sitting on a log with my booty belly hanging out.
The man with no pockets has less. Mike Winters.
No pockets, no problems.
No pockets, no pockets, no peace. See what I did there? Yeah, with the K and the...
I'm going to start a letter. At the bare minimum, I could get a... like support group and like get people to pay thousands of dollars to come to some seminar me saying this crap. At the bare minimum,
but now you've completely spat all over the assumption of Buddhism.
Oh yeah,
well now how do I make money out of this?
Well then
buy more stuff.
You got the other caveat is less pockets, less problems.
Mm-hmm.
Bring people with pockets.
Yeah,
let them carry your
deeper pockets. Let me relieve you of your problems.
Look, for just $59.95, I can give you that side of the...
This is getting real Royal Gemstones. You're going Uncle Baby Boy on me.
That's right. It's a 12-step guaranteed program to get you with less pockets.
You know what's funny? For most of my oldest child's life, I've actually been railing for the exact opposite.
Yeah.
Because it's next to impossible to find a pair of girls' jeans with pockets in them. If they do have pockets, they're like that deep.
Uh-huh.
She could put like a chapstick in there.
But they still try to crowbar that cell phone in it, no matter what.
Yeah.
Like
that's the back pocket.
Yeah, it's like that thing's hold on to that little pocket for dear life. Like
I've never in my life, and I want to just once see this.
Uh-huh.
A straight man carrying his phone in his back pocket. I've never seen it. But I have seen it so many times on females.
Yeah, it's almost a standard.
No, I'm not looking at your butts. I'm just saying it's where I see most of you carry your phone.
Buying your phone case.
Just I've been buying your phone case. It's a nice case. Is that a Samsung?
Well, that's my other wife's, my wife's other fetish is phone cases.
Ah, okay.
You know, purses and phone. Like she wears phone cases or swaps out phone cases like clothing sometimes. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
I'm not. I am a student of if I find a thing that works, I'm going to get that thing every time.
Oh yeah, me too.
I've had this. This is like my fourth version of this case, which is the magnet wallet case.
Same
it covers the screen. It never breaks.
The clear minimalist, just boom. That I've had that version of this case for 4 phones. My wife will literally she'll go, "What do you think of this case?" Like, didn't you just buy a case last week? Yeah, but I don't like that one.
It didn't go with this outfit.
Yeah, I don't like that one. I'm like, well, how many of these you're not going to like? You literally bought more phone cases in the last month than I bought phones in my lifetime.
Let me tell you where that same mindset takes an interesting turn is the world of, I was going to say tumblers, but specifically Starbucks cups. I know somebody, I won't say names.
I know a guy. Here's the guy.
I know a lady who I may have, fathered children with who has more Starbucks tumblers than there are items on their menu.
Really?
Yes, she's got one for every outfit. She's got one for every mood. She's got one for more seasons than there are.
All right.
It's amazing. She's got a whole shelf. You know how some people like will display their sneakers?
Mm-hmm.
That's how she is with her Starbucks toast. She just has a shelf of them. And
Okay.
they're like
To each their own.
arranged in a specific,
Does she drink out of any of them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. She'll pick one for the day. And that's like her cup of the day.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Good for her.
I may not have fathered children. I'm just saying I may have. Just for the record. It's not necessarily that person, but it's not necessarily that person.
We're going to start pulling a Big Bang Theory. No, it's Ricardo Shilly Shally. They're from Belfast. All right, let me give you the rundown for this hour of the show. We're going to get you up to date with the weather here and all that. Spoiler alert, weather's nice. Coming up here in just a few minutes. And then here about 9:15, 9:20 or so, we're going to be joined here in studio. Tammy Alvarez with the Fine Arts League and also world champion body painting artist. I was like, ooh, world champion. So I was like, man, does he get a belt for that? I always wonder. But,
I hope.
But famous body artist Mark Reed's also going to join us. Coming up here this weekend is the Roswell Fine Arts League membership drive, and they're having a big event out at the Encanto Event Center here this weekend, and they're going to have, of course, Mark's going to be there doing live body painting and all kinds of stuff. So Tammy and Mark will join us here in just a few short minutes to give us the rundown on what's going on there. And then later on in the hour, we'll get you up to date with news of the local variety, Wall Street business updates. We'll have a little charcuterie and a butterboard and call it good. So, but first, your weather, which may or may not be update. They've been telling me it's been goofy.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have high pressure set up over the southern Rockies, and we've got a pretty good looking weekend coming up. The wind should stay light today. We'll be hitting the mid-60s, and we get sunny skies. Overnight, clear and chilly. We'll drop into the mid and upper 20s, and then slightly warmer on Saturday with our highs near 70 and sunny. We'll make it to the mid-70s and sunny on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 37 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 57%. Winds are calm at the moment. Beautiful weather. No complaints. Nothing but just delightfulness for the next several days. Sunny and 64 today. Winds will be out of the south, 5 miles per hour. Clear tonight. Overnight low of 25 degrees. South winds around 5 miles per hour. Sunny, near 70 tomorrow. Not quite. 69 officially. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear Saturday night with an overnight low of 35 degrees. Winds out of the southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. 78 and sunny for Sunday with west winds 5 to 10. And then next week, looking at 80s for a good hunk of it. 80 on Monday under sunny skies. 80 on on Tuesday under sunny skies. 82 and sunny on Wednesday. 76 and sunny on Thursday. But for the most part, we got nothing but delightful weather for probably next week or so. All right, 9:16, we're going to take a 3.5-minute break, and then we'll talk all about Fine Arts League, their big membership drive event this weekend. That's coming up here in about 3.5 minutes. Don't go away.
Attention Roswell, the all-new Roswell Ford is back and open for business for service, parts, and sales at our dealership at 821 North Main Street. Our goal for 2025 is to make buying a new Ford and quality pre-owned vehicle super fun, super fast, and super easy. In fact, we'll give you the price we give to a friend or family member right up front. Bring us any trade in any condition. Don't even wash it. At Roswell Ford, all trades are welcome. Making payments on your current vehicle and want out early? We can help. We'll take your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. Roswell Ford has partnered with even more aggressive lenders, all with great rates and terms for good credit, no credit, and even bad credit, with rates as low as 0% APR. Plus, we have a great selection of low-mileage, one-owner pre-owned vehicles in prime condition, starting at just $10,000. Huge savings, exceptional trade-in values, and a better buying experience. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell, or online at roswellford.com. 0 APR for 48 months is $20.83 per thousand finance, plus tax, title, and license with approved credit.
At the end of the book of Jonah, Jonah prays these words: I knew that you were a gracious God, slow to anger and abounding in love, a God who relents from sending calamity. What a great testament to God. But Jonah says this in anger, as God had forgiven the enemies of Jonah when they repented. He's angry because these people received a gift from God that he feels wasn't deserved. Jonah decided these people didn't deserve God's grace. Fortunately, God gives everyone the opportunity to experience His grace and forgiveness. It doesn't matter how bad we've been. God's grace is available to all at any time. Jonah didn't realize that none of us are worthy of God's forgiveness. Thankfully, God sent His Son Jesus, who lived the only perfect life, to be the ultimate sacrifice for our sins. God's forgiveness is not based on our merit, but on Christ's sacrifice. Join us to learn how you can have access to the grace and compassion of God, who is abounding in His love for you.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
When you stick with Block, everyone's a winner. Weekly prizes and giveaways like a Samsung 65-inch 4K Smart TV to be giving away on February 21st. Your Roswell, New Mexico H&R Block wants to help those affected by the recent flooding that affected our beautiful city. We are offering a discount to any tax filers claiming a casualty loss deduction this season. Please give us a call at 575-622-5455 or stop by our new location at 701 South Main. H&R Block has got you covered.
In a medical emergency, every second counts. Artesia General Hospital's emergency department is open 24/7, staffed with highly trained professionals ready to provide life-saving care when you need it most. Don't wait. When minutes matter, trust Artesia General Hospital. Quality emergency care close to home. Learn more at artesiageneral.com.
Whether it's NFL on Thursday, Sunday, or Monday night, or college football, Game Day Roswell is your #1 destination, with a kitchen open for all your favorite snacks and apps, and a stock bar with a full line of beers and spirits, with happy hour pricing all the time, including $4 bottles and $5 16-ounce tap. And try the Game Day Signature Shot Cinnamon Rocky Mountain Honey Whiskey, open Monday through Friday at 3, Saturdays at 11, and Sundays at 10:30 at 913 South Sunset in Roswell. Game Day, the place to go for sports. What made Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico for 2023? Great selection, great savings, and great people. Roswell Hyundai has an amazing selection of makes, models, and model years to choose from. If you can't find it, Roswell Hyundai can get it. And Roswell Hyundai will take any trade. The experts at Roswell Hyundai will work with you to get you behind the wheel of your next dream ride. So, what makes Roswell Hyundai the #1 used car dealership in southeastern New Mexico? You do! Come check out the Used Car Supercenter only at Roswell Hyundai, 1909 West 2nd.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. China has more English speakers than the United States. They have more Chinese speakers, too. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 20 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in the studio this morning from the Fine Arts League, Tammy Alvarez back with us this morning. And, of course, got some guests.
We have some wonderful guests
that we want to highlight because they're going to be kind of a big deal at the big shindig here
They're
tomorrow.
going to be a big deal.
Yeah. So...
Okay.
Good morning. How are you, Tammy?
I am wonderful. I'm here in the morning and looking like I'm alive, so that's always an accomplishment.
Well, I know artists, by and large, are big morning people.
Not at all. Not at all. Oh, my goodness. I even went to bed early just to hopefully be spry today.
Yeah.
But the reason we're here, and I appreciate you like always. You're always so good to furthering what's going on in our community.
You guys have a lot of great stuff going on at the gallery and through the Fine Arts League. It's just, there's a lot of cool stuff that really makes Roswell cool.
Roswell is a little art mecca.
Mm-hmm.
And here, I would say in the last year, I've had 3 different people from other places tell me that. And it just makes my heart happy.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I want to make sure is to try and get our local people, our community, to realize what a treasure they have here. And the arts is so all-encompassing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just something you hang on your wall. Get out. Go take a class. Go listen to the symphony. Go to a play. I mean, there's so many things we can do.
Art moves mountains.
It does.
And I would argue, well, I mean, you look at history, look at everything and we do, and at the end of the day, I think art.
Well, and the first language was pictures.
Inspires it.
So
art is part of that.
So the Roswell Fine Arts
Why
League,
are we doing it without the art?
Exactly. that would take the joy out of everything.
Yeah.
We're wanting to increase our membership. It's only $20 a year to be part of the Roswell Fine Arts League. And we are here to support, encourage, teach, exhibit, share all kinds of art.
Be that platform for artists that are looking to make their way in the world through art, whether it's through paint, whether it's through
cooking. I mean,
cooking, or
there's all kinds of art, and I love it all. So, Mark Reed, who is a world champion body painter, he resides in Hagerman. He's a local boy. He has graciously offered to be the center of the event for a membership drive for the Roswell Fine Arts League. So tomorrow night at Encanto
Event Center.
I always forget. Sergio has been gracious enough to allow this to happen there.
Excellent.
We want
it's a great meeting space too if you got weddings or quinceañeras.
Oh my gosh,
it's
beautiful what he's done with the place.
Come out tomorrow and you'll see it for yourself.
Right. So tomorrow night from 6 to 9 to 10, somewhere in that area, Mark Reed and some of his guests that I'll let him explain are going to be painting live models. There will be models available to ask questions and take pictures with.
So you get both perspectives from the work to the
and you get to hear Mark's story and what he does and how he does because
I imagine obviously Mark. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
Marianne here is with us as well. Good morning as well too here. I've kind of been seeing your art over the years through online and stuff. Because right around this time every year you do your Super Bowl Super Bowl paintings where whichever teams are representing the Super Bowl, you get two models and you do a whole session with them and kind of and it's a beautiful work if you've never seen them. I've been seeing them for the last,
it's amazing,
I don't know, 8-10 years or so. I don't know how many years you've been doing it.
I think this is the 5th year.
Okay. It seems like it's been about that long that I've been kind of noticing.
5th or 6th, I'm not sure.
And so it's such detailed work, and so I'm with this event, not only because I'm always curious about both perspectives, the painting, the detail, and all that. But let's face it, it takes a certain fortitude to just sit there for hours and hours and be painted on. You know what I mean?
Yes, the models are amazing.
Yeah, that's not easy. That's a lot of work, dedication, a lot of discipline. And so I think that's going to be cool on Saturdays. Not only get Mark's perspective, you get the folks that are graciously allow let you paint on them for how many hours it takes to do one of those jobs. You know what I mean? That's incredible.
I'll tell you one thing about that is you look at a lot of people get addicted to tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
Women get addicted to body painting.
Good news is, though, if you goof this one up, it just comes right off.
Exactly. Everybody asks me, do you do tattoos? I'm like, no. Why?
If you got the great googly moogly, who's the chef's moment, then you can fix that one.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, are you a football fan? Like what said, I want to paint? Like, what drew you here? What was this? It said, this is what made me want to do this.
Oh, to do the football players?
Yeah, what was it?
Something that nobody's done before.
Just kind of said, I've never done it.
A lot of times people will do a jersey.
Sure.
And it's not all that.
It's like, that ain't going to cut it. I need more than that.
Right.
I want to make a whole, I want to use a human being as a canvas and to let it express the artwork of each of these NFL franchises.
And the first year I did a jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I did jerseys. And the second year, I thought, you know what, I'm going to do something different. So I Googled leggings for the football teams. And if you Google the leggings and go to images, you'll see all different kinds of leggings they have for women. And I thought, okay, this is the new, we're doing this.
The idea's percolating here.
Yeah, so I created my own tops, and I did some leggings that I got online, and I changed them around a little bit. I don't like to copy everything so much.
Sure.
So I created my own stuff, and each year just got better and better. And it was.
So, are you a football fan?
Oh yeah.
So, what's your team? Just curious. You a Cowboys fan?
Let's move on to the next question.
Must be a Cowboys fan. I understand.
I was a Cowboys fan since black and white TV.
As a Redskins Commanders fan, I feel your pain.
And I cheered for the Redskins this year. I cheered for anybody except the Cowboys because I've had enough of them.
Well,
time to move on.
You know what? You can we'll come join our team. It's a good time to get in. And,
I'm all about it.
And you can still hate the Eagles. So
I'm your team because of Dan Quinn.
Well, I'm hoping you get. Like I was joking with him, I said, I hope you stock up on burgundy and gold paint for the next few years because I feel like you might need to stock up on that. This team might be getting pretty good. So
well, I've done a couple of other teams. I did of course, I did a Dallas Cowboy teams last year, just to do it because they're never going to make it to the Super Bowl.
I seem to remember one with the Buccaneers that looked really sharp. That was one of my favorites. Was the Buccaneers one? That one stood out to me over there. I was like, man,
that's Tom Brady. Won.
Yeah, that was the Brady year. Yeah. That one was a really cool one. I remember really kind of admiring that one.
Yeah, but other than that, it's just been the Chiefs.
I'm about to say,
the last 6 years. I don't know how many years they've been. I painted them, but
please, NFL, you're hamstringing Mark Reed by giving us the Chiefs every year. Let's get another team. At least you get to sample some green this time with the Eagles, I guess.
Well, I did these two teams 2 years ago.
Oh, that's true. That's right. We did. This is a
same
repeat.
Teams, repeats.
So is that going to be harder? Where you're like, because I'm going to take a stab that the other stuff is in the do you deliberately say I cannot go back to that because I did that last time? I mean, I'm going
to do it. I'm going to do it.
Gotcha.
What was fun, the only thing I can't do is this. I did this in Hagerman last year for the Chiefs. And I painted that girl and I put her on a horse.
That is beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
And that was great. And I will have a headpiece for them, though.
Yay.
They'll have a headpiece. And then I was kind of hoping that the Redskins would have made it because I would have made them the Redskins. Not the Commanders. And I would have put the headpiece on both of them girls.
Next year, Mark. Next year, we'll make this happen.
I'm all about it.
From your lips.
That's right. I hope I didn't jinx them.
Yeah. No. But, yeah.
But it's so cool that so I would. So are you gonna like for this for tomorrow, because I was curious from start to finish on a model like that. How many hours does that take?
Probably about 3 to 4 hours.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm blown away by that.
So
I feel like I don't know. To me, that looks like 12 hours of sitting.
Right off the bat, I have just been diagnosed with stage 5 kidney disease. I'm on dialysis.
So sorry to hear
and
that.
It makes me a little tired, but I have some great help. I have my daughter has helped me body paint before, and this is Mary Ann Bartley. She's from Lake Tahoe area, and she came down to help me paint. She has been wanting to come and visit me. And she goes, I'm coming in February. I said, well, come February 1st. And she goes, why? I said, because I need you.
So have you been to Roswell before? Is this your first trip?
I have, but it's ancient history.
Gotcha.
It's 20 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It probably looks a little different.
Oh,
so she is also a face painter and a body painter.
Okay. So you're going to be doing some work tomorrow, too, out here?
I'm going to pitch in wherever they need me.
Okay.
And
you're going to be the utility person, and just wherever there's a gap in the line, Mary Ann's going to fill it.
Yeah, exactly.
She'll be the MC also. She's real knowledgeable about our field and our industry. And,
yeah.
And
I'm curious, what? Because to me, it's a unique thing. I see you do it, and it's is there a community of artists that do this kind of thing, or is
all over the world?
Is there? Interesting. I've seen like TV shows where they have a thing, but I didn't know if it was like a
that was called
a genre, so to speak, or a niche.
What was that show?
Oh,
Skin Wars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually asked to be the first judge on that show, and they kept changing the date on it. And finally, I just told them find somebody else.
Sure.
Because I got too many events going on at the time. And
do you get a lot of people hit you up to pick? Because as an artist, and people get inspired by your work and want to do your things. I imagine a lot of people seek you for mentorship on these kinds of things.
Well, I teach face painting and body painting. I have taught all over the world, and I'm actually going to a convention in March in St. Louis that I've been going to that convention for the last 15 years. I don't know how long they've had it. I can't even count back that far anymore. But, I teach classes.
Okay.
And usually get a good turnout.
That's good. So let me ask, is there any proteges you like? Someone that went to your class and now you're like, oh man, look at their Duff doing their thing. Do you ever have those moments?
A lot of people.
Where you see some of your pupils, so to speak, go off to, push the envelope to the next level of art?
I have taught at the World Body Painting Academy in Austria I taught there for 5 years, I think. And
how cool is that?
Somebody asked me once, and they said,
I feel like you're living the art dream.
What's the greatest honor you have? And I said, that's when one of my students becomes a world champion.
Yeah.
You know?
But the fact that you get to travel and tour and, hang out and let's face it, places in the world that most of us don't get to see in our lifetimes. That's pretty cool to share that experience. And
that's pretty cool. And the amazing part about that is that, for one, I'm from Dexter and Hagerman. For two, I've been to 25 countries.
You and Mind That Bird are the best of Dexter.
Mind That Bird, right? Mike Smith.
That's right.
Mike Smith. I painted his sign right there in the middle of Dexter.
Nice.
From the 13th Triple Crown he won. And,
that's awesome. See?
Yeah, well, see, the cool thing
Full
about
circle moments, right?
Cool thing about it is that Mike and I went to the same school. We both went to Dexter. And
must have been something in the water there, man. Putting out some great people.
His grandmother babysat my dad. My dad babysat his father and his aunts. His aunts babysat us, and he went to school with my little brother.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
it's small world stuff and everything else. That is so cool. So I'm kind of curious, like, is it always sports? Do you go what's your other muses of body painting and stuff that kind of get you excited?
We do a little bit of everything.
All right. Do you have a favorite or niche? Is it football or is it like? I imagine there's things you get excited for and others you're kind of like, I'm just going through the motions.
Well, one of the things that I'm most famous for in this world in body painting is jeans. Okay.
All right.
I'll show you here. I painted jeans. I was in Dallas in 2005, and they were having a competition there, a body painting competition.
Okay.
And they said, so a lot of people said, go enter it. So I went and entered it. And I didn't win, but I had really nice, clean work, and they were really impressed with it.
It gave you a
and
spotlight.
They said, and they said, do you want to come on tour with us for a Tuaca body art ball? And it's a 20 cities tour. It's like Miami, New York, Phoenix, Seattle.
That's pretty cool.
Everywhere. And they came to, and I said, yeah, I would love to. So the week before, they asked me, they said, called me and said, have you ever painted jeans before? And I said, oh yeah. I lied. I'm sorry. It was a challenge. I'm not turning it down.
Sure.
I will not let somebody else get that.
I imagine that's part of what drives you too. It's like, can it be done? I can. We're gonna make it happen. That's part of it is saying, I'm going to make the impossible possible a little bit here too. That is so cool. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
all paint.
That's all she has on is shoes and my hat.
Wow. That's not that belt looks like a belt.
Well, it is.
So
it's a little thing I get at Michael's.
But it's so cool how it
the belt's glued on. But
the wrinkle, the wrinkles in the material.
Well, see, that's the thing about it is the first when they asked me to come and paint that on tour with them, I immediately called the model and I said, I need you to come over tomorrow.
Sure.
First thing, and she goes, okay, I got to paint jeans on you. So I painted jeans on her. The only thing is, I didn't put any folds in them. So it looked like they were just
blue pants,
blue
legs or something. Yeah.
So I got to looking at the pictures that night, and I called her back. I said, you got to come back tomorrow. She goes, why? And I said, wear a pair of pants and come back tomorrow. I got to paint you again. She goes, okay. I said, I didn't put any folds in the jeans. So she came back, and I had her model for me in her jeans, and I took pictures to see where all the folds went, which direction they went, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, because it's got to jive with the movement, or like, if you're in one position, but the wrinkles don't jive with that, it looks stupid. So,
exactly. Yeah. So we did that first year. I painted 20 pair of jeans. The second year they added another model, so I painted 40 pair of jeans. So and then besides that, because I fell in love with it so much, I painted several jeans in conventions where I went.
That is so cool.
So the first 2 years I painted over 100 pair of jeans.
Nice. Do you get? I'm curious. Do you get? Because when you get popular and people, people want things. At some point, you're like, dude, I want to paint something different. You know what I mean? Like you get after the 30th pair of jeans, you're like, all right, let's change up the art a little bit here.
I've painted probably 250 to 300 pair of jeans.
Gotcha.
Oh, yeah, that's
Easy.
almost I
Gotcha. I just didn't know if it gets, like, at some point you're like, I want to do something different, you know?
I never get tired of that. I always paint something different. I constantly paint something different.
It's kind of like the art, like the musician. You know, you're known for your hit song, and then you go all over the country, play your hit song. At some point, I'm thinking, aren't you tired of playing the same song over and over? That's what I was kind of.
I think about that too sometimes.
I was kind of wondering. It's like at some point, as you're like, let's paint a skirt, or whatever. Let's try something different.
But I don't.
But you get what people want, and you do what people want at the end of the day.
People want, like Sturgis. I go to Sturgis, South Dakota every year for the biker rally, and that is right there, spur of the moment. What do you want? I want this. I want that, and I have to paint it.
A lot of repainting of leather.
And the only research I have is my phone.
Yeah.
What do you want? Well, lady wants leather and lace, whatever, and
does it get? Because I could see where that gets to, and this is the life of an artist and anything.
That's how I make my money.
Where as an artist, because I'm thinking people from the outside think I'm an artist. Well, that's great. You the world's your oyster. You get to do what you want, how you want it, when you want it. I'm like, well, if you want to live, you can't do that. If you want to eat, if you want to pay the bills, you're going to have to do what your clients want, even though you don't like it. I think a lot of us think in our head where an artist thinks, well, it's my work, take it or leave it. And there is some of that. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, when it comes to, now getting niche, it's like you're a painter. I'm sure you have people say, look, I want a picture of my dog and my horse and a pony or whatever it is. Can you paint that? And it's like, paint, monkey, paint. And, you get that. I get the same thing here as a DJ. Say something funny. All right, let me put a quarter in me and let me crank out a joke.
But those are the things that give you the freedom and the finances to do
exactly.
your love.
To do that thing will
so
get
they
you
go
to the
hand
next
in
thing.
hand.
So when you want to do the thing that's experimental or just pushing the envelope, you pay the bills by doing all the commission work.
Yes, I was hoping you'd show him
I'm
that.
doing a class in St. Louis. It's called Leather and Lace.
Wow.
Now, that piece you're looking at right there,
that's beautiful.
And this is how I get my inspiration. So I'm standing in Walmart in the checkout line one day, and there's an old cowboy in front of me. I just happen to look down at his belt, and he has a tooled leather belt. And I'm like, light bulb goes off. Nobody's done that before. So,
that's cool.
That is Monique. She's from Amsterdam. She's my girlfriend.
That is beautiful.
And she came to New Mexico a couple of weeks after that, and she said, what are we doing? I said, well, I have to paint leather. And she goes, why? I said, I saw a leather belt at Walmart the other day, and I have to do leather. Nobody's done it before.
That's my goal, is to recreate this.
Nobody's done it before, so there we go. And that's the same way when I was in Holland. They have a Delft.
Oh, wow.
And that is the china they have there, and it's hand-painted blue on white.
You know what? As soon as you said it, I was like, yeah, it reminds me of like those antique dinner plates that Mom had.
So they took me to the 11th Annual Amsterdam Tattoo Convention in Amsterdam, and they got me this model, and I said, I'm going to do Delft Blauw on you. And I painted Delft Blauw on her, and all the Dutch artists are going, wait a minute, what? Why didn't we ever think of that? And I said, I don't know. It's your art.
Well, and that's the artist brain, and that's where I'm a little jealous of folks like you, where I wish I could see that. I don't. Like, my creativity's this part. I can talk. I'm a good. That's, but if you want me to draw something, paint something, we're in trouble. But I am a little envious of that, and I think that's what makes yourself and people like you great, is you have that ability to, you see something that we don't see it that way. We just, I look at, I don't know, that painting, and I'm like, there's an American flag. You look at it, and you're like, well, but look at the texture here and this. It's just, and that's what makes artists great, because I think every artist that's good at it, their brain's just wired in that way that you see. And I'm going to make make an argument that some of the things I do here, this is what, my brain works this way, and where I can do this, where someone else sits in my chair and you're like, I don't understand how you do that. And I kind of look at that like you guys. I'm like, I would be like to just take something that's up here or just something that's up here, and then it turns into all these different things that you're showing me. To me, that is so amazing. You can go from here to here. I don't understand that process because my brain doesn't work that way. And that's why I think the gift that yourself has and so many people that in your industry is that difference where your brain does it. And what makes someone good at accounting, you know what I mean? They may not be good at it. And so I'm a little envious of that gift you have. It is just that ability.
This art that we do, that Marianne and I do on bodies, it's a three-dimensional surface.
Yeah.
It's not a flat canvas. So you have to figure everything out.
And it's got imperfections and everything else.
And it moves.
Yeah.
I go to Sturgis and I paint Jack Daniels across women's breasts because they like the Jack
And it
Daniels
sweats.
logo.
And it does everything else. Yeah.
And so once upon a time, I represented a makeup company out of New York, and they flew us all there, me and several other artists, to give us a class. And this guy was giving us a presentation. He says, I'm going to teach you how to make a slideshow of your work and add music to it. And I said, I can't do that. And he goes, oh, yeah, you can. I said, no, I can't do that. You don't understand. I can email and text.
Right.
And that's about it. And he goes, oh, it's easy. Anyone can do it. And I said, well, can you take a set of 36 double Ds and paint Jack Daniels absolutely perfect across them? He goes, I can't do that. I said, no, it's easy. Anyone can do it.
Exactly. That's you nailed it.
You do your
That's
thing,
right.
I do mine.
Yeah, but at the same time, it gives me a better appreciation of what you do because, it's like artists. Like, I would love to play guitar. I see people play guitar, and I'm like, man, I wish I could. But I don't have the patience. I don't have, I got hands the size of shrimp. So, so I'm just not built to do that. You know what I mean? So, Tammy, I'm sorry. I think I was interrupting you here.
No.
Oh, sorry.
I
thought you wanted to say something there, and I cut you off.
I'm being good girl.
Yeah, Marianne's been doing this for a while also, and she's traveled around.
So what for you? What was your draw? What made you say body arts were my passion is, my niche?
I kind of semi-retired.
Okay.
And people kept telling me, you should do face painting and body painting. And I couldn't figure that out. To me, if you were going to put that much trouble into making something, why would you just wash it off?
You feel like, it's like at least on my canvas, it's good for as long as it's here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The logic
this has got 24 hours max on it or whatever it is, you know? Yeah.
I couldn't get it. And so I had, especially a couple of family members just kept pushing. And I said, you know what? I'll make you a deal. I will go to the biggest convention that I can find that I can get to, and I'll see if I like it.
Gotcha.
And I went, and I was in tears. Like 30 minutes in, I was in tears. It was just like so overwhelming. And then I realized I wanted to do this. I loved it. So I came home and said, okay, fine, you win.
Sure.
Yeah. So it was great. And he has been the most incredible mentor and teacher. And every chance I get, I'll take more classes from him, more training from him. Because everything, but I do have to tell you, the mannerisms with him, it's way beyond paint, because if I mess up and I'm painting under his tutelage at the time, he'll walk up and go, fix it. And I'll look at it and I'll be thinking, did I mess it up? I don't know. He'll walk up and go, see this? Fix it. And I got to the point I realized that's all it takes is fix it. It's not the end of the world. You didn't ruin everything. Just fix it.
Sometimes it's shut up and pitch.
Yeah, exactly. That's his mannerism. But you know what? It works, and it motivates, and it inspires, and I love it.
And you're absolutely right. And it's a lesson I've learned throughout life. And it's like sometimes we overthink things, we overanalyze things, and sometimes you just got to trust your instincts and shut up and pitch.
He just cuts
let her
right
do it.
through
Yeah.
it. So
as an artist, we get focused on the little bit we're doing, and we forget the whole thing.
Lose the big picture.
And that makes you think, okay, wait, I've got this whole thing, and this is just...
Well, and Tammy, you taught me that lesson a little bit. For the folks not familiar, you do your annual charity event where people like myself will paint paintings and money. But I was painting my little painting, and of course, I'm a huge Bob. I grew up watching Bob Ross on TV. He's my
Bob Ross.
Yeah, Bob Ross is just. I wish more people were like him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Happy little
trees. He's my spirit animal a little bit here. But anyway, I told her, I said, and so I'm looking at the picture and I was like, man, it don't. But then she's like, you got to step back and look at it. And literally that lesson was you're too close. Yeah. Step back and look at it. And like, oh dang, it
That
does look
looks
like what I was
good.
trying to.
Yeah.
It didn't look like it from here, but it does from here.
Yeah.
You know, and that's that lesson sometimes.
Oh, yeah. And
you
it's
know?
just one lesson that can make the difference for you and unlock doors in you. It's great.
Definitely.
So that right there is Marianne took my jeans class in Las Vegas, Nevada.
And this is her work?
One on the left is mine, and hers
Okay.
is the one in the red.
Well, they are beautiful.
And
I
we
would
went walking down the strip in Las Vegas with those two models, and it took us an hour to walk one block.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, I imagine. I would imagine. It's Las Vegas.
And
so,
we ran into some Roswell people there.
Oh, good.
Oh, my God.
No way.
Yes, Adam Rowe.
Small.
Adam,
Oh, yeah. Adam over her
Yeah.
peppers.
Oh, my
We
God.
ran and he was just screaming, and I was going, "Who's this idiot screaming?" It was Adam.
I don't know. You know what? I would have, wherever he went to eat, I would have followed him because, you know, he knows what he's talking about with food. So if he's in Vegas, I would just follow him. Where if he's going to have lunch, follow him. He probably knows where it's good.
Well, they were there for a
convention or
bachelor
something.
party. His daughter's husband's bachelor party.
Well, I'm sure they were saying, "Hey, can we bring your models over to this?"
Oh, he was so excited. It was fun.
You know what? I got to see it in person because you see the pictures and stuff, and I would imagine how close up do people get? Oh, dang, those aren't pants. That's paint. You know what I mean? I imagine people get pretty close and like, oh, that is paint.
Mark, have you ever body painted in Roswell?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a couple of models here. I have one model
For what?
Matter of fact,
I mean, for a show or for
I
a
painted
event?
this model right here. I know her. She's
Hannah?
Leadership Roswell. Her and I have been a couple organizations together.
cool.
That's how because I'm friends with her on Facebook, and I started seeing some of her work, and that's where I started seeing your stuff.
Yeah, that's Hannah.
She was one of the models. Yeah,
she's going to model tomorrow for us.
Oh, she's going to be one. Hannah's going to be there.
Yeah, she is. She was my very first Super Bowl model.
Okay. Well, yeah, she loves doing the tradition. We talked about it, and so, but yeah, I was friends with her on Facebook because we started out Leadership Roswell together, and we do a couple other. So we're friends.
I've done a UFO event. I did a couple of UFO paintings. God, it was years ago at the UFO festival, and I painted a tequila girl at Adams at Peppers.
Aw. Okay.
They had an event there, and I painted a tequila girl for a silver coin tequila or something like that.
Okay.
And,
So Hannah's going to be your model for tomorrow's.
yeah, and we were talking about being addicted and stuff. Hannah told me one time last year, she goes, "You know what my biggest goal in life is?" And I said, "What?" She goes, "To be painted by you more than any other woman."
Nice.
And I was like,
That's awesome.
"Well, let's do it."
Well,
you know,
she gets to crack-a-lacking, so or you need to go crack-a-lacking.
But
If she's
she's,
going to break a record, you got to get busy too.
She's working on it. I painted her quite a bit.
Nice. Well, she's every one of them. They're beautiful. Every picture I've seen, they're just beautiful, beautiful jobs. So see it in person tomorrow. Again, it's all going to be at the Encanto Event Center, which is on South Main 1010. 1010 South Main
The
tomorrow.
old white mattress.
Yeah, right there, the white mattress in
Beside
Monterey
Fur.
Shopping
It's
Center.
where the old
no, not
Fur-
Monterey.
No.
Broadmoor Shopping
Yeah.
Center. Is that the name of it? I think it's Broadmoor.
Where Sears used to be.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Fur's
it's,
cafeteria.
I think officially it's called Broadmoor Shopping Center.
It's the old First Cafeteria building.
Yep. I miss that place.
I do
I
too.
know, right?
I do
love-
too.
And I miss the the blind gentleman that used to play piano in there all the time.
yeah,
He was
I
so talented,
forgot.
and he would be in there no matter, I went 2 PM or 7 p.m, that man was in there playing, and I was like, "Does this guy ever take a break?" And it was, to be honest, that was the first food was great, but I kind of missed because I lost track of him, and I'm going to take a stab. He's no longer with us,
Probably.
But yeah, sorry, I got sidetracked here. But memories,
Oh, look,
talking
a
about
squirrel.
that. But yeah, it's going to be at the Encanto Event Center. Come check it out too if you're looking for future events to have. If you're looking for a place to hold it at.
Sergio's amazing.
Sergio and then the Encanto there. Like I said, they're going to have a cash bar. There's going to be live model painting. Mark's going to be there doing his thing. Marianne, you're going to be doing some painting as well here.
Yes, I'm going to do
Good
that.
deal.
With
So
them.
we can get, and then of course now it's $25, and of course this is going to help the Fine Arts League and everything else. And of course we'd love for you to be a member. This is the whole point, is to come be a member of the Fine Arts League, learn what it's about, learn. If you don't realize what kind of art community we have in Roswell, come tomorrow night and you will see it's a thriving, it is strong, and it is such a neat, this is one of these things that makes Roswell this beautiful, cool. We got our problems. Every town does, and everything goes. But there is a soul of this community that is really hard to match, and it's all through this art community. Whether it's in Stiller Coffee with the music, or in the gallery with the artists there, or hanging out at one of our bars and restaurants, doing a thing on a Friday night. We have such a amazing community of that, and so coming out tomorrow night to the Encanto, you kind of get to see the best of it all right there.
The larger the Fine Arts League grows, the more classes and events and great things we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And push the envelope for the new things.
Exactly.
Like the next Mark Reed, whether it's body painting or whatever. You know what I mean? The next thing. Maybe it's, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it's buildings. Maybe it's murals. I don't know. Whatever gets inspired from Mark's work onto the next. That's kind of what it is, too, is I'm going to take a stab that there's some young boy or girl that's in their classes. And next thing you know, they're going to be the next street artist or the next, there's people that do like the 3D. Those are another. There's chalk.
Yes.
Where they make these 3D things with the chalk, and it looks like you're standing in a. I'm envious of that talent too.
I know, right? Like you're about to fall in a hole.
Yeah, I'm envious of that talent too. So whatever that is.
So we have tickets at the gallery inside Main Street Arts, 223 North Main.
Right downtown here.
We will also have tickets available at the door. Trina Padilla and myself will be there.
Okay.
To sell tickets as you walk in.
So you can come and go, but it'd be very helpful if you think about it. Swing by the gallery here today and pick up the tickets. But if you space out on it, just come on out tomorrow night.
And just know the majority of the proceeds from tonight are going to Mark.
Excellent.
Because we support our local artist and we want to help him through this time.
Well, like I said, you're dealing with some medical stuff here, and we want you around a little bit.
That's where my heart is.
Well, I had planned on doing this before I went to Dallas, before I had my episode, and
I know you're fighting to do your thing, but does it, when it comes to your own personal art and things, does it change? Like, because as I get older myself and I look at my own personal life and look at things, and you kind of, I'm starting to put a timetable on things if I want to get it done. I'm running out of time. Like, as an artist, does it make you think, because, we all think of our own mortalities and stuff. Does it kind of like, all right, does it like start the bucket list of like, I got to get this done and this, like, because I imagine there's art that it's someday a bucket list, or I want to check that off the list as I did that. Does it kind of, in your own mind, push that timetable up a little bit?
I don't know. There's some couple of things I want to do still, but
sure.
You have no idea what I've done.
I was about to say you've been a lot of places to put.
I painted at the Playboy Mansion. I
just imagine at the same time there's always one other thing I want to still. You know what I mean? It's just because as an artist, I imagine there's always something that you're chasing or something.
I really can't say that.
Okay.
But you know what? Something presents itself, and then he will rise to the challenge, because that's what he always does.
And that's
where it comes
from. And
that's
sometimes, sometimes it finds you. You know what I mean? And you're right place, right time, or you're like, what are you going to do next? I don't know, but when it finds me, I'll know. You know what I mean? Kind of thing.
Well, I've been lucky like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I painted at the Playboy Mansion. I've been on the Travel Channel, featured artist in Sturgis.
Nice. Did you meet Hef?
If you're a man, you cannot meet Hef.
I just didn't know, like, while you were
funny.
wandering around the mansion, and there he is in his robe saying, "Hey, nice job, Mark," and keeps on walking by. I didn't know that was going on.
No. He just sits there, and all the young girls, 21-year-old girls, they flock over.
I was about to say, he was.
But one of the greatest things that I did was I got to do makeup for American Horror Story.
Oh.
And
the FX show
in New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
Coven.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that is so cool.
Yeah.
That's
cool. One thing is that with Mark's work, people need to really see it. They hear about it and they think, oh, body painting. I don't know. I've never.
The pictures don't do it justice.
They have to see the picture, and every time it's like a light bulb goes on. People will look on my phone. I'll pull up his website and they'll look at my phone, or they'll see one of his business cards, which they're gorgeous. And it's amazing. It's like this expression comes across their face, and it's like they never even considered it would look.
It's try to wrap your head around that concept. Yeah. And then when you see it.
And it sells itself as far as people deciding that, yes, they want to do more of this. They want to see more of this.
Absolutely.
Because the beauty is incredible.
Absolutely. Yeah, this So please come out tomorrow. Come like doors open at 6 o'clock, I believe.
Yeah.
And then everything else. So they'll do the doors and all that. So you can come out 6. Come have some drinks, mingle. There'll be some art to purchase. If you're shopping for art, looking to beautify and to add to your home, I highly recommend maybe making a trip out to the Encanto tomorrow.
Definitely.
And maybe do a little shopping.
And I
support these
challenge
artists.
everybody. I challenge you to take the time for yourself to come out and experience this. You will not be disappointed.
Wow. I'm sorry. I was looking at Mark's cards. He was just showing me it's another squirrel moment. Here. So here's another one, Hannah. And this is kind of a
steampunk.
Steampunk. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, that's a steampunk.
Well, that was fun. That was fun.
Was that during like one of the festivals, UFO festivals, when they had like the Comic-Con?
No, that was just I won't. There it goes. I want to do steampunk.
Gotcha.
So Hannah, come over. I need to do steampunk on you. So okay.
Because it's a lot different than some of the other stuff. Because it's more that industrial dark grays, and it's not the purples and greens and blue. You know what I mean? It's not the bright colors. It's more of that gritty, dirty.
Mad Max.
Yeah. Apocalyptic look to it.
There you go.
That is so cool, man. I wish, folks. What I'm seeing, you don't do it justice. You guys come out tomorrow. Come see the live painting here.
Yes.
Come see it in action and see literally how the sausage is made on some of the stuff, and see it. And I guarantee, if you've been looking at Mark's pictures and things, you're going to go and then probably say, "Wow, the pictures just aren't." It's like you said, the details, the things you're recreating. Some of these pictures you're showing me, like you're like that one with the antique plates. You remember that? Y'all remember when? The details and the flowering, and just the very ornate. Mm-hmm. And for you to be able to recreate that, I just saw the time, to recreate that in a way that we do on a computer screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes. Like this is the stuff people do in computer. Like, no, this is hand, this is out. And so.
Makes you want to frame it and hang it.
Exactly.
It does.
So it's kind of like, the only other comparison I could say to it is Native American beadwork.
Wow.
There you go.
All that detail.
Intricate and sure, you can get a computer or get a machine that does all that, but it ain't the same.
Not the same.
So.
I want to give you this.
Oh, thank you.
You can pass it along to a friend.
All right, ticket for tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Again,
Use it for
$25.
yourself.
Get your tickets. You can get them at the door or come by the gallery here today and get those tickets, or tomorrow before the event, and do all that. So
be the 10th color.
That's right.
I remember those days.
That's right.
I won many a vinyl album that way.
I won a couple contests back. Cause I was a radio. There's a reason I'm in radio. I was a radio when I was a kid. I won me a few contests. You know what? You ain't lived until you try to win a radio contest with a rotary phone. That's all I'm saying.
We were so happy when we got
one
the
of
button.
those.
That's right. You ain't lived until you won a radio contest with a rotary phone.
Oh, that's too funny.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you for having
thank
us.
you for sharing your work with everybody, and we look forward to tomorrow and seeing all the great stuff out there.
See you tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
All
Stay
right.
safe.
Thanks so much.
10:01, we're going to go. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. Have an amazing weekend. We'll be back bright and early Monday. Take care, everybody.
Quote, all FBI employees will be protected against political retribution. While the Senate considers Patel's nomination, the massive law enforcement bureau is being run by an acting director and an acting deputy director, both veteran agents appointed by the White House. Bernie Bennett, Washington.
South Carolina is preparing to execute an inmate accused of murder. Marion Bowman Jr. will receive a lethal injection tonight at a Columbia prison. On Wall Street, stocks are mixed. The Dow dropping 14 points. The NASDAQ composite up 231.